Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you can afford it. If you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable. Like the all-new Mazda CX-90 Park. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail matte and leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my... If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you can afford it.
Check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello. Hello! It's not static, AM radio. It's the Cool Ben Red Hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Everybody tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromala intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack at 6 o'clock and lager with some sirloin bites.
Happy Monday morning, everybody. What's going on? AM Nasty, Dusty, and Lieutenant Eric with you. If you are here and you are watching right now, let's hammer that thumbs up. Let's get a nice jump on the likes early in the show. 6 o'clockers. Let's run that number up a little bit. Then we don't have to get on the 8 o'clock people, right?
Look, why don't you throw out a threat? It's you're asking here. You put up a threat.
Everything. I want to talk about everything today,
Yeah.
so I don't want to threat anybody with anything. That's okay. All right, so who slept less? YouTube Trevor, Lieutenant Eric. That's what I want to know today. Rick, how much sleep are you on tonight?
Maybe like a 2? 2.5.
Because you went to the concert.
I went to Gwar, came home, and you don't just go home.
You don't go fall asleep after Gwar,
Watch
right?
Gwar kill a handful of people on stage covered in blood, come home and slide in the sheets, do you? You kind of have to relive the thing a bit. So you do that, and then then you sleep in a bit in the morning. You don't get up. I mean, it's a Monday. It's whatever. I mean, we're kind of feeling our way. Big bond spiel as well over the weekend. A lot of things going on.
You had a weekend.
One of those weekends where you blink and it's already in the rearview mirror.
Over,
so, but, and obviously, I mean, the big game Saturday night, which was kind of right smack dab in the middle of it.
Yeah. And
the temperatures and everything. I mean, RIP to the ODR.
Yeah, beautiful day yesterday. Holy smoke. A little windy, but...
Yeah, but we're here. It's a nice turning.
Yeah.
The curling, the concert, the St. Patty's, the Oilers game, which I know the result.
Oh, man, the Oilers game was amazing because I was doing post-game show that night.
Yeah.
Post-game show is amazing.
Well, we thought, too, like, it being that it was late, puck drop, but then you go to overtime as well. You get a bit of that bonus
I don't
hockey.
even know what time we started.
You're doing the Sunday morning show. And
must have been 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I had highlights from the post-game show. I'll go over them again. Hosting the post-game show at 11 o'clock on a Saturday night is an interesting place. It's a little bit different than 6 o'clock in the morning, but we'll break that bad boy down.
And we might be less on sleep, but having said all that, coming in on a Monday, selection Sunday,
there's lots
easy
to
get up this morning, really.
Easy to get work done today.
But you were St. Patty's partying, eh? Was that the...
Yeah, it was nice. Eric definitely did, he got less sleep than me. I got like 4 hours.
Okay.
4 hours, so not too bad. But
it's good, though. It's good you get the sleep.
It was good, yeah. It was nice. It was the first time. I always had worked on St. Patty's Day, or, it was COVID there for 2 years or whatever. So yesterday was the first time I kind of went out.
You got
so
to go for St. Patty's Day.
It wasn't crazy, actually. We didn't go out at all. We just stayed in the backyard and played beer darts, some good old beer darts, and a lot of fun games. Had some green beer, lots of green beer, and yeah, it was good. I had a lot of fun. So
That's good.
It was
That's
good.
good.
Yeah.
Did you get to pinch anybody or get pinched?
I wore green.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
I did
pinch
wear
anyone.
green.
Everyone was green. Everyone was green. So
Yeah. I wore green out yesterday. I have an Elks hoodie that I wore out yesterday. We watched a little bit on my nephew played in the city final yesterday, so we went and watched that. Then we hit up Italian Center Shop. I got some donuts for the boys.
Oh, baby.
We're gonna get to that around 7:30 today. My goodness, what a delight that was. Then we came here yesterday for a little bit. The kids did a little mini hangout, played basketball for about half an hour, and what else did we do? Played some NHL 24 yesterday. Did it break last night?
Yes, how was that, by the way?
We didn't hit a
you find it?
Bedard
No.
Young Gun, but we hit Matt Boldy, Owen Power, Wyatt Johnson, Slavkovsky Canvas. Like a real nice.
Matt Boldy classic.
Yeah, Matt Boldy. Yeah, Young Gun. It was great. It was great. But post game, yeah, well, I'll have my thoughts on post game probably a little bit more around 6:30 today.
Yeah, not the game. We're not talking the game. We're just talking post
the
game.
post game event.
That was the game for you, hey?
It was amazing.
And what belt are you again? You're.
I'm not a black belt.
What discipline are
There's
you?
one guy in the chat who was a black belt. So we'll get into that as we work our way through the show this morning. If you need a conch here on a Monday morning, let us know why. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, and we will get to some of those conch requests, your thoughts on the Oilers and the Avs as well. And we'll continue to work our way through that. Tommy Rubella's in and says, I got 4 hours of sleep due to 2 finals beer league games. Conch all of us functioning on little to no sleep. This is like this is one of those weird spots where I slept more than other people.
Yeah.
This is great. Usually I like when I'm on no sleep. I went to bed last night just after 10. I had a great sleep. I slept for like 6.5 hours.
You sound fantastic as well,
thank you, Eric.
given the fact that your voice and everything
Yeah,
like that. So
yeah, it's coming
sound like
around.
you're trucking.
Coming around here.
It's a
Anyway,
different day. Usually you can do these like a Thursday heading into a Friday, I always say, but having a Monday.
kind of get
with a
out of
little
it
to no
there,
sleep.
right?
But
Like,
given
yeah.
the weekend it was and everything to discuss here, I mean, setting up, let's get going.
Morning, boys. First things first, LTE, how was Guar? And secondly, were you in the splash zone?
I was just outside of the splash zone, to which I got splashed near the end. I didn't get any splashes off of the, shall we say, body appendages that tend to come off.
These
And I'm
guys are a
talking
mess.
below the waist.
Oh, they cut off a wiener?
Well, look, some of the characters have multiple wieners. And so... and so I got splashed a bit a couple of times. The guy in front of me took a step to the side once, and I just took a load right on my pants.
Oh, my God.
And but I saw Joe Biden get killed. I saw Benjamin Netanyahu get killed. They even
know
killed
who
a
that is.
fan. They killed a fan. They brought a fan up on stage and
Must have been a plant.
done. Well, I don't know. It's
Had to have been a plant.
Yeah, they have their little slaves, to which they call the people like the roadies. They're dressed up in like speedos and they run around and
What a
dance.
scene.
It's fun.
Look, I gotta know here because people are gonna be like, "What? You and Maddie took Zacticum to this show?"
Yeah, he's never been. Matt Sogwar a couple of times, and
But what did Zacticum think?
he was pretty wide-eyed. I think it was getting a little hot for him near the outer spray zone, so he went back a bit. I don't know if he got sprayed. I know Iwanek and I got a little bit of liquid on us, but
Oh boy!
it was fun. It's hilarious.
All right, so it was a good time.
Real
Give
good time.
Guar,
Real
a
good time.
pass or
Yeah,
whatever.
and thank you to T-Mac, the rugby guy, as well, out at Midway. Great spot to watch some shows. Great sound and everything like that.
Where is Midway? Where's that at?
The old you would know, was a country bar. Name the country bars there on the south side. There's the
I know the big one.
the big one.
Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking
By the
about.
car dealership.
Yeah, the big one by the car delership. How come
South
I
side,
can't?
I mean, yeah, that's pretty
I can't
specific,
remember
eh?
the name of that right now. I know exactly what you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about, though. Yeah, all right. Let's lay out the show for you today. Also, Oilers and Avs. I mean, we're going to spend a lot of the show today talking about the Oilers and Avs. Did anything happen? Like, did any of you on Saturday night change your opinion on how a playoff series would go between the Oilers and Avs? It was one game. It was essentially, it went to overtime. If that was the playoffs, I'm pretty sure that game doesn't end the way that it ended. It might still been Colorado winning, but I feel like it would have probably gone on a little bit. I mean, it was NHL regular season overtime. That's a soft. It was a soft between those two teams. If that changed your opinion of how the playoff series would go, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear. I don't want to get all fired up again like I was on Saturday night. We don't need that on a Monday morning.
But if it's going to change negatively, and if the Oilers would have won like that in overtime, you couldn't then say that they would. Do you know what?
Well, that's what I mean.
This is like the Vegas game all over again to me. The feels that when we went down there and they lost in a tight one to the Golden Knights.
Yeah, in which I thought they were the better team.
Exactly.
I didn't necessarily think they were the better team against Colorado, but
this
it was a well-played hockey game.
Yeah, it's not a 6-0.
So we'll get into that as we continue to work our way through the show today. Let me just lay this out for you. We'll get to your morning announcements coming up 6:30 today. I am going to give you my 3 favorite highlights from the post-game show. We got to recap that. It was awesome. 6:40 today. I says pardon. We'll go there for Lawyer Central and the good, bad, and ugly from the weekend coming up just before 7 o'clock. Darren Dreger scheduled to join us just after 7 o'clock today. GM meetings, I believe, coming up here this week. So we'll get into that. We'll get his thoughts on the Oilers and the Habs as well. You know what's the best thing about that is they play 2 more times in the regular season, setting up what could be a possible conference final at some point.
Thank you, Mr. Bettman. Huh? Doesn't get enough praise.
I've been saying it for years. Gary Bettman's a genius.
Yeah, well.
Cool Bed hotline of the day coming up around 7:20. Man, last week, lock shot play of the days, we were 5 for 5. Cool Bet hotline of the day, we were 4 or 5. We just missed out on a Sidney Crosby goal, which he did save for yesterday. Crosby finally scored first goal in 12 games for Sid the Kid yesterday. That's good. We're going to go there for Italian Center Shop. We'll dive into those donuts. Well, you guys, they've dropped off some pastries for us here in the past, but my goodness, you should have seen my wife's face when she opened up this box of donuts yesterday. She was like, it's like she didn't know that donuts could be constructed in a fancy fashion. But my goodness, we're getting into that around 7:30. Dave Naylor is going to join us today around 7:40. We will dive into that Elks ownership situation and the timeline for it and what type of group or person they're looking for. We'll get into that with Naylor. Kind of easy trivia for Mr. Mike's. 3 questions too many for Park Mazda. The key word for Vegas, a reason many of you would be here today. That'll happen around 8:20. Right before Ryan Rishaug joins us for a Got Your Back Monday morning mandate, and we'll get his thoughts on the Oilers and the Avs. Desharnais possibly going to miss some time, so we'll see. Would you just put Stetcher with Darnell Nurse? I would. Or would you bump Cece back up with Nurse and put Stetcher with Kulak? I mean, there's a couple different ways you can look at it. We might get into that a little bit with Ryan Rishaug when he joins us today. But your thoughts on the Oilers and Avs? I know it's taboo in this city to be like, it's not the end of the world. But it's not. It's not. And we'll break that down as we continue to work our way through the show this morning. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. That'll get you into the Paris Jewelers inbox this morning. Go see our friends at PJ's. They will look after you. They got gifts for every budget, flexible financing options. Don't pay until 2025, 22 locations across the country. Go see our friends at PJ's, www.parisjewelers.com would be their website. So that's where you can fire out your thoughts on that one. Hey, let's go here too. Let's go here because text of the day today. People love when it text of the day rolling on into the office here and be like, I'm here to pick up my text of the day. And then I say, oh, what text was it? And then they tell me and I go, oh, that was a great text.
Yeah, you get to look around a bit.
Pretty much the same type of thing. Yeah, we like to give out tours here. The tour of the EST Global headquarters does not take long.
It's a quick tour, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, would you like a tour? And like, yeah. And we turn around and go, here it is. Yeah. That's
you put up the little sign, next tour starts in
pretty much
50 seconds and you queue up.
Text of the day, though, gets you A&W. A&W right here. A&W is a deal for you. How about this? What's better than one A&W Mama Burger? I'll give you a guess. A perfectly seasoned grass-fed beef patty. 2 of them. Why not 2 of them? 2 Mama Burgers for only $9.99. Until April 14th, you can enjoy 2 of these delicious, mouth-watering Mama Burgers for only $9.99 at participating A&W restaurants in Edmonton, St. Albert, Sherwood Park, Devon. What a deal! And to make it even more convenient, most A&W drive-thrus are open for 24 hours.
Hit that post. That was really...
2 mamas. That wasn't a good post today. I was like,
well,
I was all over the place. I was fired up about these 2 Mama Burgers.
Too fired up. That's okay.
2 Mama Burgers for $9.99. Lots of places nowadays you can barely get 1 burger for $9.99. They're rolling out 2 mamas for $9.99. You gotta like that. All right, let's get into your morning announcements for 100.3 The Bear. Edmonton's best rock. You can catch me every morning with Yukon and McCord over there. Jess Jackson in the afternoons on 100.3 The Bear. They're launching another secret sound, I think, today. So if you want to get in the mix for the secret sound, you can do that. Of course, you can stick around here. We got the keyword coming up for Vegas at 8:20 today. What is the keyword? We got 4 words today. Actually, we almost have all words this week. There's just one that's not a word. There's one
another acronym?
Just, one more, yeah. One more, but that's it, Maddie. Why don't you
Can I take a look? I usually like the surprise, but I'm kind of
for you, buddy. There you go.
What are we
keyword coming up
there?
a little bit.
Oh yes, okay, very fitting.
Later,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
That one makes sense, right?
Yeah.
That one you can kind of let slide. Hammer the thumbs up if you're listening on, if you're watching on YouTube. If you were listening at EdmontonSportsTalk.com or on iHeart or on TuneIn, tell your friends about Edmonton Sports Talk and how easy it is. You can even just say it into your device. Hello. Hey, device, play Edmonton Sports Talk. And it works that way as well. As for your morning announcements for 100.3 The Bear, NHL action yesterday. Vegas Golden Knights get the win at home, 3-1 over the New Jersey Devils. New York Rangers in a battle of New York beat the Islanders 5-2. The Islanders had won 6 in a row. Now the Islanders have lost 4 in a row. The good teams in the National Hockey League rolled yesterday. Would have been a nice day to have been on the favorites here because Vegas 3-1, Rangers 5-2, Carolina 7-2 over the Ottawa Senators, and the Winnipeg Jets dropping a 6 spot, a half dozen on the Columbus Blue Jackets 6-1 last night. St. Louis, a much-needed win as they tried to cling to life. They got by Anaheim 4-2, and the Pittsburgh Penguins double up the Detroit Red Wings. The Detroit Red Wings just sort of falling apart here, eh?
Well, Wings, Capitals, Islanders. You mentioned the Islanders and the streakiness, both good and bad, but still some jostling to be done for that second Eastern wildcard spot. But the Wings, 2-8 in 10, so not the best time to be going on that
I'm not going to
streak.
say you cruise along all year, but you play relatively consistent all year. And if you're not one of those elite teams, a slump like that's going to kill you.
Well, reports of some
Absolutely
infighting last week, too.
Video in practice. So these guys kind of getting after it a little bit. March Madness week. It begins. Time to take none of the knowledge you have about college basketball and put it into a bracket.
Well, today it starts. Today you learn, and then by, end of the week, Thursday, when's the...
things get rolling on Thursday.
Yeah, so you got 4 days to go from knowing absolutely nothing to becoming an actual expert by the time you get right. Like this is another reason to wake up this morning. You can print the bracket, you can hold the bracket, but just don't fill it out yet. Listen to everybody talk about it, and then regurgitate that info to everybody else.
I will, of course, be selecting the Duke Blue Devils to win.
Well, hey,
as a 4 seed,
sure,
they'd have to go through Houston along the way. Your 4 number ones: Yukon, North Carolina. Houston and Purdue.
Go Boilermakers!
The big Canadian kid. So March Madness is set, and we'll probably get somebody on this week to talk brackets. Maybe even Jack Armstrong over the phone.
Be a nice return, hey, for March Madness.
We'll get to Scotty Sheffler a little bit more in the good, bad, and ugly. But Scotty Sheffler wins the Players' Championship. He goes back-to-back in the last 2 weeks. He goes back-to-back at Players' Championships. Scotty Sheffler is absolutely lights out and has been for a couple of years now. So he ends up winning the Players' Championship. And shout out to my man Huss in the Lock Shop, who was on Scotty Sheffler this week. Worked out very well for the Lock Shop, which is always nice. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, or hit us up in the nasty chat this morning. RBM is in, and let's get back to it. Your thoughts, of course, on the Oilers and the Avs. The fallout, the aftermath of the Oilers and the Avs. Where do you come out on it? This one in from RBM says, the game was definitely too close to freak out about. It was good. With that said, the Oilers had a ton of trouble breaking out of their own end the majority of the time. And, of course, that ending to me was inexcusable. Nothing I'm worried about, but it was pretty damn frustrating. Yeah, that might be okay. Like if you're looking for a way to fairly and properly summarize your feelings, and we can't tell you how to feel, right? But if you need to discuss your feelings, we're here for you. Nothing I'm worried about, but was pretty damn frustrating. And we were sitting here watching the game, and it was like, oh, well, off to a shootout. And then they kind of just play a puck down into the corner. You're still like, well, who knows? There might not be enough time. Obviously, Bouchard and Draisaitl were thinking the exact same thing because both of them let up on the play, and McKinnon finds Lehkonen, it's in the back of the net, and you don't get the extra point. So, very disappointing finish to that game. But I don't know. Maybe I'm glossing over it because what am I usually? If there's a glass sitting around, where am I at?
Yeah, well, good luck bringing that half fullness to a Saturday night, Sunday morning post game after losing with a second left in overtime. That's a tough one. I know you tried.
I tried to. But there's nothing about that game that made me go, wow, there's no way the Oilers can beat the Colorado Avalanche in the playoffs. Well, and there was like nothing on the other side where I'm sure as fans were like, oh, we're going to roll over the Oilers in the playoffs.
The text was really good. I don't think anything concerning or anything to worry about. Can you be frustrated following it? Absolutely you can. Sure.
Well, you should be.
Rinse it, wash it. You should be frustrated. Well, fan, yeah, players are. I mean, everybody is, but you move on. Montreal tomorrow. You know how you can stack up. Again, it's not like the pants were taken down and you were embarrassed on home ice or anything such as that. And maybe a few things here or there with certain individuals, but I know somebody in the nasty chat saying Dry owned up to that, not concerned.
Yeah, after he did say, he goes, I let my man go, and that was the end of the game. Like,
again, re-rack it, and you go again. But I don't think any sort of long-term concern popping up that maybe you haven't seen with this team or the DNA over the last while.
It shouldn't be. No. And as we talked about it on the postgame show on Saturday night, going back to the oil stream on Friday afternoon, if you were to lay this thing out, if you were to lay these teams head-to-head, forward group, I had the Oilers going into that game with a deeper forward group. Coming out of the game, I still had the Oilers having a deeper forward group. On the blue line, the advantage is to Colorado. It was going into that game. Coming out of that game, you still watch the blue lines and go, yeah, Colorado has a better blue line. And then going, the goaltending is the goaltending soft between these two teams? I know Skinner's had better numbers this year, but Georgiev he was excellent against the Oilers. So I think goaltending might end up being a little bit of a soft. But
if you had to take one today, who would you take, though?
I'd rather pick some of the other goalies in the West than either
sure,
of
but
them.
between the two of them, I guess. I'd still kind of give it a slight edge maybe to Stuart Skinner. I'll just say that this morning. Maybe to kind of get that watermark up to the half full again. But
I would give the slightest of edges to Stuart Skinner. His numbers since they turned it around have been much better than Georgiev's season-long numbers. But I also wonder if that's just because we're in Edmonton and I'm a glass half full guy.
That's where I was trying to go to.
To kind of go with that. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999 with your text messages on this CB radio, guys. And it says, overall, the Oilers played great, and there wasn't anything to say. They can't beat the Avs. And there wasn't anything saying that they can't beat the Avs. Yeah, exactly. They can give us 7 of those games. Right here. Right here.
You're mainlining it.
Is that what that is? Mainline it.
Yeah, heat it up.
Mainline it into my vein, my big old vein in my arm, the one that you can see when you flex.
Norman Combine, Dusty, you were awesome Saturday night. So good.
Well, thanks, Norman Combine. Appreciate the support. Maybe if I continue to try to work hard in my career, I can do a post-game show one day. All right, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that I can stay up to midnight or 1 talking hockey every Friday and Saturday night. That'd be a dream come true right there. Disappointing end, but a good game overall. The only concern is that the Oilers don't have a lot of wins against playoff teams, specifically the West.
Well, not in the playoffs yet, though. Again, glass half full.
In the season, they are over 500 against playoff teams in the West. Just over 500. So, but I think if you were to go look at a bunch of the other teams in the West as well, with maybe the exception of the Canucks, we dove into these numbers last week in the Canucks. The Canucks are 15-5-3 against playoff teams, both East and West. The Oilers were not. Nobody was actually close to that good. So, like, if you look at Colorado, if you look at Dallas, if you look at Winnipeg, like, what are their records against playoff teams in the West? And I have a feeling if you go look, they're all probably be hovering around like 450 to 550. Like, it's all somewhere right in that mix, I would think. RCN is in and says, Kane and Henrique is not it. Well, yeah, but Kane and Draisaitl's not it either.
Oh, no.
So, I don't know.
So, your options there are?
Well, we went through the additions to both teams pre-deadline, playing in that game on Saturday night. Middlestad, I thought, was pretty good. Set up the game-tying goal. I thought Middlestad to me was better than I thought Middlestad was. So, bonus there. Obviously, Sean Walker would have been a major upgrade on Cody Ceci.
You'd take the 2 goals as well for that given night.
Well, I mean, he almost had a hat trick in overtime.
It's not like he's known for, but
he got in on a breakaway in overtime, and I said to Trevor, I was like, "Is that Walker again?" Like the guy was all over it. So Sean Walker had a big impact on the game. Carrick ended up scoring a goal in that game. I thought Adam Henrique was the least impactful of the new guys on either side. Of the significant guys who should be viewed. I know Colorado has a few other guys a little bit deeper down, but from Henry, even Carrick probably shouldn't be in that conversation, but he at least scored. It was a positive. But like Henrique, Middlestad, and Walker, it would have been Walker, Middlestad, Henrique in that hockey game as far as impact goes. So Petter's Pancakes and says Walker did look good. He can skate. Yes, he can skate. He moves extremely well. Extremely well.
A Tief texting in a dream for Phil Kessel. Maybe you can bookmark that. And
here we go. Yeah. Well, we got now. Can we hit this right now?
Yeah.
Do you want to do his voice, or do you want me to do his voice?
You give it
All right. This is good. I had to read through it quickly first.
You always want to, yeah.
Good morning, boys. After sledge hockey practice last night, I realized that if the Oilers had Phil Kessel, the outcome of the game on Saturday night would have been different. I still have dreams of Phil Kessel becoming an Oiler. Oh, and if I ever get a chance to go to the EST headquarters, I will roll around for your little tour. That's in from Atif, the man in the chair. I love it. Atif still has dream. Man, my glasses are filthy today.
Like Atif's.
Atif has, Atif's glasses are always filthy.
Funny you mention that now.
What a tribute to Atif this morning. Yeah. Anyway, Atif, I don't think that's going to happen.
And I don't think that Kessel would have unbalanced the, but dare to dream as he is.
Atif, I'll say this, Atif. We love
has
you.
A dream,
You know that? But you're the only person out of the 9 billion or whatever we have on the planet now who are like, I wish Kessel was an Oiler.
But it tipped
all
the scales.
I can think about watching the Oilers and Avs is, if only the Oilers had Kessel.
Screaming out, yeah.
Oh, Atif, you are an absolute beauty. Don't ever change. Hey, so did you guys know on our audio stream here you can get like the real time, like see where people are listening from right now?
What?
I was messing around on this. Like right now, and I can scroll in. There's somebody listening down in Guadalajara, Mexico.
Oh boy.
You know who you are. There's somebody listening in Tampa. It's probably Rod Peterson. There's somebody listening in New York, Prince Edward Island today. A bunch of people listening in Montreal right now. Somebody listening in the middle of Kansas. Like it's crazy. This map is insane. You can literally see every single person, and obviously in Alberta it's just completely cluttered. You can't really, but yeah, you can see like somebody's listening in Chicago right now. It's
like nastyography.
Cool. Yeah,
you kind of
to that person who's listening in Chicago right now. I see you. That's creepy. Let me see here, and I can even tell you they're listening. I can tell you what device they're listening on right now. It's so cool. I remember back in our radio days, it was like, well, there's 400 people in the city who have a meter. And then you take 1 million people and you use that 400 to actually gauge what's going on. Come on. I'm telling this dude's listening on a Samsung in Chicago. It's nuts. Absolutely insane. All right, 780-218-9999. My 3 favorite things about the postgame show on Saturday night. That's coming up. I says pardon. That's on the way. And the good, bad, and ugly from the weekend coming up as well. If you're watching on YouTube, let's hammer that thumbs up because if we don't hit 100 likes by 7 o'clock today, we cancel Darren Dreger and we bring in who's the guy who calls soccer games for our country?
Yeah, Gareth Wheeler. We'll talk about the new kits.
We bring Gareth Wheeler to talk soccer kits. So hammer the thumbs up. That would be great. Reds, and it says map watching, not just for airplanes. Oh, I could get really obsessive, like looking at this map. It's crazy. Like, let's see here. There's a bunch of people listening in Vancouver, a few people listening in Victoria. You know who that would be? Jaunty, my man. Prince George.
Go Cougars.
And Zach. It just keeps going all. That's wild. Yeah. Don't worry, we're not sharing your information, but it's pretty cool. Guys, that person listening in Chicago is probably Brandon, who was just up here for his big Oilers tour. I mean, maybe. Who knows?
Could be.
That's the thing. We don't know their names. But we
That's
know
as
everything
far as
else.
it goes, yeah.
Yeah.
Blood type, organ donor, the whole bit.
All right, yeah. Oh, and the guy listening in New York City today is an organ donor. Interesting. And he's wearing a red shirt today.
But we don't know the name.
Let's get to a sports update with LTE. Here we go.
NHL action yesterday. Vegas topping New Jersey 3-1. Jets all over Columbus 6-1. Tyler Toffoli with a pair. Blues double up the Ducks 4-2. Oilers homestand will close out this week with games tomorrow against the Habs and Thursday versus the Sabres. Tonight, just a pair. Capitals visit the Flames while Seattle will host Buffalo. Defending national champion UConn, a day removed from winning the Big East. Selected as the men's #1 overall seed during the NCAA tournament selection show yesterday, the Huskies joined on the one line by Houston, Purdue, and North Carolina. 3 teams that have been consistently in the top 10 this season, but lost in their respective conference tournaments last week. Raptors dropping one in Orlando, 111-96. The Lakers will host the Hawks tonight. It'll be one of 8 games around the NBA. Back over to hockey. Oil Kings drop one to the Broncos on home ice, 5-4. Oil Kings season wraps up Saturday in red during Game 1 of a home-and-home. PWHL yesterday, Toronto getting past Montreal 2-1. Action will resume Wednesday with a pair of games. Scotty Sheffler hitting a 64 in the final round to become the first repeat winner at the Players' Championship. His 8 under 64 tied the record for best Sunday score by a winner. His 5-shot comeback matched another tournament record, and he now stands alone as the only back-to-back champion in 50 years of the PGA Tour's Premier Championship. Round 1 of the Inter-Pipeline Cup AJHL playoffs continues tonight with just one game. Calgary Canucks visit Grand Prairie Storm with Calgary up 2-0. Sports update brought to you by Green Plan. With construction season coming up around the corner, planning season already in full swing. For all of your environmental planning needs, contact Green Plan Environmental Consultants. Green Plan can assist with any of your environmental concerns. No matter how big or small the project, Green Plan is here to help. You can check them out today at green-plan.com.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. To Dusty and Eric and all of the bad guys. Like Rishaug and Noodles, Captain can gauge it. Maybe it's but a cool man to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday Mandate. Sharky's always on time. Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were #1 in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some hot takes and we wanna hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away? Beat up the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Macramel, Rapaport, Dreger, Engineer. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All about him give a present. Does he go on? What say you? AM Nasty Crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
6:35 with the Nielson Show. Thank you very much for being here. We're coming in hot from the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio this morning, where you can get the wings, you can get the sandwiches, you can get all the delicious sides at Popeyes. Surveyor Brett following up in Norman Combine's shoes here, tweeting us.
More praise for you for the Saturday Night Post game.
No. Tweeting us.
I love the slathering on the praise of Dusty for Saturday Night. More of that this morning, please.
Well, somebody said Tommy kind of sits there, he'll read text and not want to get into it with people. And I was just calling people
Gloves
out left
off,
and right. I was just like, you guys have horrible takes.
And you got threatened by a dojo or a
That's one of
martial
my top
artist?
3 moments coming up. Not me. They was threatening people in the nasty
No,
chat.
yes.
It was great. Anyway, here's Surveyor Brett's Popeyes receipt. We like to do this. 8-piece nugget combo. Barbecue sauce, regular fries, medium Coke, and a biscuit. 12-piece nugget combo. Barbecue, regular fries, medium Coke, and a biscuit. Blackened chicken sandwich. That's what I'm talking about. Deluxe deluxe blackened chicken sandwich, fries, Coke, plus 4 more nuggets.
I like the 4 nuggets at the bottom.
I mean, you've already got
sneaky little
you already got
character.
20 nuggets. Why are you throwing in 4 more nuggets? I will also have 4 more nuggets.
Sits on it for a second. That's just not. Yeah, 4 more.
Is 20 nuggets enough?
Yeah.
Nah, I think we'd be better with 24. You know what? We'll take 4 more nuggets from Popeyes.
I like this
Excellent.
receipt bragging as well. I mean, Surveyor Brett's laid down the challenge here. Come at him.
Whenever you go to Popeyes, text us or send us your receipts. We want to see what you're munching on. All right, we've got the good, bad, and ugly from the weekend coming up here. Darren Dreger just after 7. Naylor at 7:45 today talks Elks ownership. And Ryan Rishaug from the Got Your Back podcast.
On the Kenny Pickett deal.
He's going to be by to give us his thoughts on a fresh start for Kenny Pickett. Wouldn't that be something?
It would.
That would be
It really
that would be quite the scene.
Deconstructs the whole field, everything involved.
You'll never believe it. I'll be like, what? This is nuts. This text in from Adam this morning. It says, hey, if you guys could please slow down the sports talk and just keep describing a map, that would be awesome.
I know you would. Don't
I know
tempt
you're probably
Dusty.
being a spicy boy, but I was going to throw this out there. Right now, there's one person listening in Paris. There's one person listening in Vaud, Switzerland, VAUD. And there's somebody listening in Bavaria. They're listening on a Chrome device. I could do this all day.
They're listening on a Chrome device.
Somebody said that I'm giving off very much a Romper Room vibe.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
We should get the Romper Room music.
Get a little mirror for you. And
I see Chrome in Bavaria, and I see unknown client in Vaud CH. And I see you in Paris listening on TuneIn.
the teeth with your dirty little glasses.
And a teeth. You can't see us because your glasses are so filthy. All right. What was it? We got ISIS pardon coming up. But yeah, so post game was. I love it, man.
You knew heading into the weekend it could have been you could have been in store for something, and it did not disappoint.
When Tommy said he had some family stuff, he's like, what about like pre and post game? I was like, after the Oilers and Avs game, I told Trev after, I said, I'm bumping Tommy for the next 2 Oilers and Avs games. I only do big games. That's it. I'm like, I'm coming back for the Oilers and Avs again. Because it was wild. My 3 favorite things that happened on the post game show on Saturday night, in no specific order. 1, and when I woke up, I was talking to somebody about this on Sunday. I can't remember who. I don't know, maybe The Godfather. Anyway, I was talking to somebody on Sunday, and I was telling them about this. Trev, it's not just a figment of my imagination here, right? Like, there was a guy in there claiming he was a black belt and said he was going to kick everybody's ass, right?
It definitely
That
happened.
was the thing. Okay.
Why did he want to kick everybody's ass?
Well, because everybody was all fired up about the loss.
So he's just taking names.
It's like,
and
yeah,
just-
but I think at one point he said, I'm gonna, what did he say? I'm gonna tie you like shoelaces or something.
He was like, I'm gonna choke you with my shoelaces. Yeah, this guy was going all out. Yeah, we'll have to.
I'll say this: he was so entertaining, I couldn't even ban him. I was just like, let's just keep this going.
It was good.
It's 11:40 on a Saturday night.
well, pretty creative with the shoelace. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, that was great.
Mean, that's
Yeah, he was. I have a feeling he probably doesn't have a black belt, but I like the idea of just being a guy online who pretends you have a black belt.
It's mysterious.
It just keeps people guessing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Do you want to mess with this guy? Well, he probably doesn't have a black belt. But what if he does?
It's like holding the gun in your pocket with your hand.
Yeah, it's a.
Could be a gun.
Careful.
I don't know.
I'm gonna get you.
You take him at his word for it.
That's right. Careful. That might be a gun.
Well, I'm just going to say Saturday night we do have our watch party, Hudson's.
Yeah.
And it's Oilers Leafs 5 o'clock. We could have a repeat, albeit a little earlier next Saturday, but another big game coming up.
Is the Australian GP not that night too?
Yeah, Canada plays Trinidad and Tobago that afternoon. So we'll be at Hudson.
I'm thinking of
Saturday's going to be a fun time.
Thinking of calling my buddy Evan Dom. And if Dahmer comes out, I'll go with him to Rosie's and do some karaoke.
Let's
after
go.
The game.
I'm
you want
in?
to come do
Sure.
some karaoke
if I'm able.
You won't be able to make it.
Probably not.
The game ends at 8:00. You'll be done by then.
Good night.
I'm thinking of texting Dahmer and being like, "Hey, after the game, do you want to go over to Rosie's and
let's start making plans. This is going to be a great week leading up to a great Saturday. Yeah.
I don't have anything to do Sunday morning. I don't think so.
March Madness full swing. We're going to be living
That's
and
exciting.
loving.
So make plans. Tommy's going to be Bourbon Street Tuesday. White Ave, we're talking Hudson's here, of course.
Yeah.
Bourbon Street Tuesday, White Ave Thursday, White Ave Saturday. And the Saturday one's an EST watch party, so the whole crew will be out. And, if Dahmer comes, I think I might go do some karaoke. I'll probably get enough little bevies in me. We'll go hit some karaoke. I want to do Alabama in a hurry. We're going to do that on the Achy Breaky podcast this week.
Dahmer hitting the town, though. That would be reason
he's a
to.
beauty.
Yeah.
He's a beauty.
If he's
yeah,
out, you
sure.
do what you need to do.
All right, so that was one of the highlights, was the guy with the black belt.
That's what that would be the highlight to me. Yeah.
No, the other thing that I thought was great was, like, you always think Oilers fans can make a case for anything, right? And I thought maybe this would have been a bit of a stretch, but this Ken guy texted in Saturday night, and God love him. But he sent in like a 4-sentence explanation of how Hyman's goal should have counted. And I was like, it was the most obvious kick in the history of kicks.
Hyman knew it.
Yeah, even Hyman was like, yeah. Like
they all knew that the goal. Drysdale was like, oh, well.
Hyman probably skated past Louis between the benches and heard Louis go, wow, I wonder if Drouin kicked his leg. And Hyman was probably like, Lou, didn't happen. Like, don't worry about it. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that was insane to me. Somebody was trying to justify that the Hyman goal should have counted. Come on, you guys. You don't have to be that ridiculous. And then, of course, Leon Draisaitl was traded by about a dozen people after that game last night. Like,
which wraps up a tradition of when the Oilers lose these types of games, you entertain that proposal.
This is post-trade deadline, and people are still like, got to move this guy.
Well, you can always do that after.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, somebody should trade for Draisaitl now. I can't use him in the playoffs this year, but you can still make the deal.
Wouldn't that be something?
That's a good idea. It was great.
That wraps it up. The Draisaitl trade, that just puts a nice bow on the evening.
Travis, every single post game like that, is there always ridiculous things?
Not quite like that, but
No.
that one was.
It was good.
That one was excessive. Yeah,
Huge game, late Saturday night. People were having some fun. So,
and that's why Buddy was threatening the black belt. Was after the Leon Draisaitl talk. Like the trade.
That's right.
He's like,
see, so maybe that's why we let him justify it a bit. I was like, go ahead, buddy. I got a black belt too. All right, let's do this.
It was funny. Stepdad. Yeah, I was talking to him. He's like, oh yeah, I wasn't able to watch the post game show. How'd it go? I'm like, well, we spent maybe 20 minutes like trying to convince people not to trade Leon Draisaitl and why he's a just super valuable asset. So, and he's like, oh gosh. So
one person said that he does more bad things than good things. It was insane. I loved it. I loved it. And look, I'm not justifying what happened in overtime because we're going to get to the good, bad, and ugly coming up. But did anything that happened on Saturday night change the way you would view a series between the Oilers and Habs? That's all that matters here. That's all that matters. Did anything that happened on Saturday night change the way you viewed a series between these two? I mean, maybe if you thought, oh, man, the Oilers are going to walk over the Habs, they'll sweep them. Well, then that was a horrible take in the first place. But nothing that happened on Saturday night should have changed your opinion on how a playoff series between these two teams would go, which would be one of these teams would likely win the series in 6 or 7. And it should be a highly entertaining, very hard-fought series. Colorado's not walking all over the Edmonton Oilers, and the Edmonton Oilers aren't walking all over the Colorado Avalanche. That's two very good teams. One of the other text messages that came in, so fired up about this post-game show. One of the other text messages that came in and says, well, guys, this just goes to show how the Oilers stack up against a true contender. And I was like, oh, so they took a true contender to overtime. Great. I guess they stack up very well against a true contender because they are true contenders. When's the next game between these two? How long do we have to wait for the next Oilers and Avs game? When is this thing? Let's get the schedule up. When do these guys play?
April 5?
Is it April 5th? That's not too far away. We got some time there. What a post-game show.
That's a Friday.
It's a Friday night?
Yeah.
What time does it start? 7?
Yeah.
Here or there?
Here.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So then the last meeting must be in
The
Colorado.
last meeting is in Colorado. Yeah.
Can't wait. That's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let's get into I Says Pardon for Lawyer Central. Get a clean slate at an affordable rate. If you, a little criminal record there that it's not really a big deal, they'll get rid of it. That's it. Just hit them up.
They wear the black belt.
Exactly. In law.
To your criminal record, yeah.
Lawyer Central. They run a dojo.
That's what they're doing.
www.lawyer-central.com/pardons or call 1-888-288-8177. 1-888-288-8177 to find out more about getting a pardon. They don't just do pardons. All legal issues that individuals have, they can help you with it. So give them a call, 1-888-288-8177. The Pittsburgh Steelers acquired Justin Fields for a 6th rounder. I says, pardon? Now, it could become a fourth if he plays 51% of the snaps. So if Wilson sucks and they give the ball to Fields or Wilson gets hurt and Fields plays, you're still only giving up a fourth rounder for Justin Fields. I says, pardon? This is a nice move by the Pittsburgh Steelers, is it not? The Steelers now this year have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields and are paying less than $5 million combined for both of them. All-time smooth move.
And we'll see how it kind of obviously works out. But you mentioned, I mean, the money on the line is that it's a great play. And it's a great to have an older guy in there with Justin Fields. And this is the Steelers, too, taking a guy, again, that getting him on the cheap, not too many suitors.
You might as well take a look.
You wait, you take a flyer. Moving on, Kenny Pickett, to which I've kind of seen and heard is, not fitting in too much there. What could have been with him? I think a lot of people had high,
and Kenny
high
Pickett
hopes and
wanted
high
to
dreams.
move on when Russ kind of
right? But I mean, it's your Pitt guy. There was something there to kind of hold on to. But no, this is outstanding business for the Bears. I mean, look, you kind of got to move on from this one, not kind of let it sit and affect you. Take the pick and move on. You got the draft, right?
Yeah.
The future is now as well, so you kind of just have to forget it ever happened. But
how did you botch this thing to the point where Justin Fields is getting you sixth?
Well, but it's earlier than just the most recent, like over the past couple of weeks. Obviously, nobody's picking up the phone or doing anything to it, so it's before that time. But
how does Justin Fields not carry any value? Like I just don't
get
get it.
He's been playing on the Bears, and
that's the thing.
But who knows who's to say, right? You surround him with a few.
I think 2 years ago, he had the second most rushing yards in a season for a quarterback ever. And this year he had, 16 touchdowns, but only 9 interceptions. Like he looked like he might have been figuring it out a little bit. Plus, the only guy they ever really gave him to play with was DJ Moore.
Yeah.
Like, name other targets that Justin Fields has been throwing to in his career. I think it's a great pickup for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll see where it goes from here, but why not?
Why not? Exactly.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, so the fact that Justin Fields was traded for a sixth rounder, I says, pardon? They were talking like a month ago, wow, they think they'll probably be able to get a second for him. They got a sixth. So obviously, quarterback market moved, but still.
Can turn to a fourth if he plays 51%.
He has to play 51% of snaps, yeah.
But that's the Steelers, man. Whether it's coaches, quarterbacks, or whatever, they don't get them all right. It's not 100%. But usually when they do these things, you have to give them the benefit of the doubt.
I'm going to beat you to this one. I know some of you will send these texts in, but it looks like Pittsburgh got a steal. Give us a thumbs up for that one. I mean, I worked hard on that. I had the team of writers put that one together last night. It was real nice.
Marshall Muzz working overtime.
Marshall Muzz working
overtime. I love
overtime.
them in 2 rooms with typewriters just furiously going out. Like a black belt.
Did you see Marshall Muzz on the Hangout yesterday?
Amazing stuff. Great back and forth.
It was hilarious. Elizabeth, right off the top, like Elizabeth like pops in and just drops bombs, right? Marshall's trying to do a show.
Yeah.
He's like, so, Elizabeth, what did you think of the Oilers' performance last night? And I was over in the kitchen doing stuff. So Tammy's over here, and she goes, you got to see what I recorded with the kids. And Marshall's like, so, Elizabeth, what did you think of the Oilers' performance last night? And Elizabeth has this funny voice she does. And she goes, oh, what was it? They lost. Oh, man, what was the quote? It was hilarious because she...
I says pardon.
Oh, it was great. So why? Where is it here? Let me see if I have it here. I don't know. I'll play it quickly. Just.
So Elizabeth, how did you like the Oilers' performance last night? So bad. They lose. So why would I like it?
So bad. They lose. So why would I like it?
Marshall's just so.
Marshall's like,
he's trying to.
Elizabeth, tell me about their performance last night.
Like
what
60
did you
minutes,
think? So bad. They lose. So why would I like it?
We've told you to settle down.
And then she just spends the rest of the time trying to jump on the chair and make fart noises.
Yeah.
Like, they're so different.
Yeah.
But
RC and hashtag fart chair. That was
yeah. She was just like, at the end of it, like the last line is she goes, and now I'm going to make fart noises. And just starts jumping up and down on the chair. So I don't know if we'll get her in the Hangout at some point. I do think Marshall could pull it off. I think Marsh is getting close.
Matty Iwanek, he's coming after you here.
I think Marsh is getting close, man.
Not just as a guest.
Yeah, it's going to be weird one
2 hours.
day when I ask Matty, hey, who's on the Hangout today? He goes, Marshall. I'm like, what? I didn't even know. All right, let's go. Let's get into your good, bad. Oh, here we go. Here's look at this guy. Checking in from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm in from Baltimore, Maryland. Am I adding a pin to the map? 10-pin Joey. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
Put on the list. All right, good, bad, and ugly from the weekend. Lieutenant Eric, what's your good from the weekend?
My good is the Jasper Place Curling Club and the media bonspiel again that I took part in. Thank you to everybody at JEP Curling Club. Staff there is great. The kitchen is excellent. The tendies were going down fine. Had about maybe 3-4 plates of fries. Just delicious. You know when you're walking
What type of fry? What type of fry? Tell me about
Well, when you walk into the curling club and the lady behind the counter's peeling potatoes, I mean, hell, how do you not get the fries?
That's how they make fries.
You order them up, gravy, poutine, whatever you want to do. But a great weekend of curling to which our Edmonton Sports Talk rink, alongside me, my wife, Jess from the Bear, and her husband, Dan. We drew our first game.
Okay.
Won our Saturday morning game. Got skunked in the afternoon game.
No.
And then
No.
Sunday, we came up against yesterday morning, this hot shot grandma, and she was just just shooting. You couldn't miss.
How old would you say she was?
Oh, she's. I talked to her. It was a family affair. It was her. Her son was throwing third stones, and he was a shoot. I mean, they both. It's basically a 2-person rink that beat us, and then they had 2 kids there. But I was talking to the grand. Oh yeah, our grandma. She lives alone. She's really tough. She, all this stuff. Like she's one of those elders that just don't take any guff.
Like 70?
Oh, yeah. So she was just, I mean, I was getting so tired of saying nice shot to her. I told her, I said, I can't keep saying this. I just get her on a loop. But very good time. Love going to the curling club, the curling rink. Saturday got a little into it, which is, as per tradition, you do at the bonspiel. But, yeah, great time. Bill Forte, Bruce Wiggins, Ashley Weeb, everybody that involved in putting that tournament on. Just great stuff. 5-star.
Is there any other sport where you could lose to a 70-year-old man or woman?
She was amazing. She had, and again, she curls. She got her weight down and everything.
So she was just throwing darts.
She could just place that rock wherever she wanted to. If one side of the ice wasn't curling too much, one side was too slick, she didn't care. And then she's watching me like she's. I saw where your rock went down there and it didn't. I'm like, oh, you bugger. So, anyways,
a little old lady.
Yeah, no, and her son, who is. But then he purchased us a pitcher of beer afterwards, which is what you do.
Oh,
so
that's nice.
Very sporting affair. I mean, that's the best part. Everybody's good spirits, good moods, and
after a good bare butt spanking, they get you a pint.
Yeah,
that's nice.
We did smoke Ryder though.
You did?
Oh, smoked him.
Oh, take that
Saturday morning game. Take that FM radio.
Yeah, that's chalk one up for no radio needed. All right. My good from Scotty Sheffler. I mean, Scotty Sheffler was just absolutely locked in on pretty much the entire weekend. But on Sunday, and this is from Justin Ray. Remember J. Ray?
Joel J. Ray.
Scotty Sheffler, after winning the Players' Championship, first back-to-back champion in Players' Championship history, ties the lowest final round in a Players' Champion, 64. Bogey-free the last 31 holes, longest streak to end a Players' Championship victory. 8th PGA Tour win in the last 3 seasons, 3 more than any other player. First to win the Players the week after winning another PGA Tour event since Tiger in 2001. First to successfully defend any PGA Tour title the week after winning another tournament since 2007. That was also Tiger. Ties the largest final round comeback to win in Players' Championship history. He was down by 5 entering Sunday. Best score to win to par, -20 by a defending Players' Champion by 10 shots. Webb Simpson had 10 under in 2019. Also was picked by Huss for multiple units on the Lock Shop. Like, it was just, Scotty Sheffler just had himself a day. Lock Shop group chat was going nuts yesterday as Scotty Sheffler continued to just manhandle the course and just pick his way up the field. Very impressive stuff by Scotty Sheffler. Best golfer in the world right now. I don't think you can debate it. All right, you're bad from the weekend.
Finding out Canadian quarterback Trey Ford may not be ready to be a leader of an organization.
What? I says pardon?
As quoted by Elks AGM G. Simon in a conversation over the weekend. And I just want to I do think I have a few quotes. He was in conversation with 630 Ched. And I'll just read you a few quotes here that G-Roy.
This would have been Morley probably, or Dave, one of the guys.
Trey is going to be a very good player. Right now, he's a very good playmaker. He can do a lot of very good things with our roster and on our roster, but he's not quite there to be a leader of an organization. He's not quite there to be the face of the franchise. So look, I don't know, maybe some people already had that thought in their minds. I know one individual in this company, in this building.
Matty Iwanek won't be in today. He's trying to find and beat up G. Roy Simon.
Respectfully disagree with the AGM, but here we are. And it's, look, I don't know why it's bad. I just kind of wanted to bring it up to talk about it, really. And but I just, now that it's, you don't need this kind of bending in the wind with nobody. This is G. Roy Simon saying it. This is the AGM. If he feels and they feel that he's not, then so be it. That's their prerogative. Now, he could be ready by next season. He could be ready who knows? I don't know what the timeline is on him being a leader of an organization. But I just think they know that they've said good playmaker, good player in there, everything like that. I guess they're looking at leadership qualities right now, not just there yet. But I don't think we also go to the other extreme where Chris Jones hates Canadian players and he's going to be on his way out or something. They do think highly of him. It's just maybe not right now in this moment.
It's an interesting take because you don't really know if a guy can lead an organization until you give him a chance to lead an organization. Yeah. So I find it a little bit interesting. We also know that at the end of last season, the Elks as an organization were planning on building all of their marketing and building their team around Trey Ford. Obviously, things change and they bring in MBT. Yeah. But interesting comments there. My bad from the weekend will be, and now Desharnais was apparently injured in that game. Could end up missing some time. We'll get into this a little bit with Ryan Rishaug a little bit later on today. But prior to the fight, my bad would be, like, of all the things I might have taken away from that game, is that Desharnais or Ceci, I'm not sure they're going to be able to handle that fourth D-man load come playoff time. Well, the game looked too quick for Desharnais while he was playing. And CC's a veteran, so maybe he can go about it a little bit differently.
Good news is, though, you can make a move here prior to the trade to own. Well, that's...
Well, this is why we said this on the postgame show. Stetcher skates better. Maybe in a series against a team like Colorado, maybe Stetcher would get in anyway. You're ugly from the weekend. What are you going with?
Ugly from the weekend is the Fields deal. Yeah. I had that in there. It's kind of... But whatever. It's not like Chicago now has nothing.
No, they did
this to do that. So it's one of those. How would you relate it to something like?
It basically came down to the fact that they just wanted to get rid of him for nothing.
Yeah, and you had to take what you were going to get. You didn't get anything prior. You everybody else was doing their thing. The music was playing, and no calls. So you take what you got. You move on, and you focus on the draft now. Justin Fields, don't remember him.
My ugly from the weekend would be, it's one moment late in a game, lesson learned hopefully, but both Bouchard and Draisaitl on the overtime winner. You just have to be better. You have to be better. Bouchard could have worked harder and not allowed McKinnon to kick that puck from his skate up to his stick and throw a backhander in front. And if you go watch the video, Lehkonen and Leon Draisaitl were side by side at the blue line, and one of them ends up winning the race to the front of the net. That's ugly. Draisaitl owned it after the game. Both Bouchard and Draisaitl, ugly efforts on the game-winning goal. And you hope that next time, if they find themselves in a similar spot, you don't see the same thing again. All right, on the way, we do have Darren Dreger scheduled to join us. GM meetings, I believe, this week, so we'll get into that a little bit. We'll get his thoughts on the Oilers and Avs, the fact that they meet 2 more times. That's going to be super exciting as well. And Dave Naylor is going to join us to talk about this Elks ownership situation around 7:40 today. Cool Bet Hotline of the day. That's good. Also coming up in hour number 2. Right now, we have a sports update with Lieutenant Eric.
NHL action from yesterday. Jets 6-1 over Columbus. St. Louis topping Anaheim 4-2, while Vegas would get past New Jersey 3-1. The Oilers' homestand will come to a close this week with games tomorrow against the Habs and Thursday versus the Sabres. Tonight, just a pair around the NHL. Seattle hosts Buffalo, while the Capitals visit the Flames. Defending national champion UConn, a day removed from winning the Big East, selected as the men's number overall seed heading into the NCAA tournament. The Huskies are joined on the one line by Houston, Purdue, and North Carolina. Raptors dropping one in Orlando, 111-96. The Lakers will host Atlanta tonight in one of 8 games around the NBA. Oil Kings losing to the Broncos on home ice 5-4 yesterday. Their season wraps up Saturday in Red Deer in Game 1 of a home-and-home. PWHL saw Toronto get past Montreal 2-1. Action resumes Wednesday with a pair of games. Scotty Sheffler hit a 64 in the final round to become the first repeat winner at the Players' Championship. His 8 under 64 tied the Players' Championship record for best Sunday score by a winner. Round 1 of the Inter-Pipeline Cup AJHL playoffs continues tonight with just one game. The Calgary Canucks visit the Grand Prairie Storm with Calgary up 2-0. The Edmonton Blind Curling Club is hosting the 50th Western Canadian Blind and Vision Impaired Curling Championships, March 20th to 23rd at the Granite Curling Club. Come out and support visually impaired athletes as they look to become champions of the West.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
.702 on the Nielson Show. Thank you very much for being here. Tell your friends about Edmonton Sports Talk and what we are bringing to the table content-wise. We think you'll like it. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999. That'll get you into the Paris Jewelers inbox. Could win A&W text of the day. 7 degrees right now, up to 14 degrees for today. And then things cool back down. Just 3 degrees tomorrow. -1 on Wednesday, -3 on Thursday, some snow possibly on Thursday, and -2 on Friday.
Was it today 13?
Today's 15, it looks like.
Okay.
It says 15 for today, then 3 tomorrow, and then down into the minuses for the rest of the week.
Giddy up.
Yeah, so when I see -11 on Wednesday here in Edmonton, and then I see Darren Dreger pop up on my bloody screen, and he's sitting somewhere beautiful and sunny right now. That's not going to sit too well with us. As always, our Hockey Insiders are brought to you by the great crew over at Pro-Am Sports. If you've not yet checked out their website, proamsports.ca, if you're to go there right now, you will see a number of different signings locked and loaded, including one with Ryan Smith on the way. Deadline for that is early April. Ethan Morrow, Vincent Desharnais, and Ryan Smith, the 3 signings that they have available right now at proamsports.ca. All right, let's bring in Darren Dreger this morning. Dregs, look at you, a happy guy today, hey?
Well, you guys are the guinea pigs here. So this is the first show that I'm doing on video. We're taping the Rain Dregs podcast later today. It's not the palatial NHL hotel here in Florida, but it's not bad. Anytime you have a shot with a palm tree in the background, it can't be bad. But does it look okay, or do I need to turn the whole apparatus so you only see the inside of my room?
No, I think you definitely have to use that background. You definitely have to use the background. Is that a door behind you, or is it the window?
Yeah, that's the door.
Okay,
that's a little of both.
Yeah. Man,
why is it going right through the middle of my head?
I was going to say, it kind of comes up right through the middle of your head. If you maybe put the tree behind you or open the door or something. Either way, I mean, you can't go wrong, though. You can't go wrong. It's probably going to be okay. All right, so let's start here, man. You're down there for the meetings. What's on the agenda, and is this one of those meetings where things actually happen, or is this one of those meetings where things get discussed?
Well, all of that for sure. There could be, a rule tweak, but anytime you're making rule changes, it has to go on to the competition committee. And then if it gets through the competition committee, ultimately gets to the NHL board for final approval. I'd be a bit surprised if we see anything like that. So normally what this meeting is about is revisiting some of the conversations they've had in the past, and also planning and prepping for the upcoming Stanley Cup playoffs, and conjuring up ideas. Okay, well, what if this scenario unfolds in the playoffs? How do we deal with it? And then you relate that back to your multiple coaches challenges, goaltending interference, and the mystery that continues to cloud that issue. What about kicked in pucks? I showed last week on Insider Trading an example of Chris Kreider of the New York Rangers back in January against the Chicago Blackhawks, just went hard towards the crease. And then in a stopping motion, as he's stopping, he propels the puck into the net. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but they had a goal review, and they deemed that it was a good goal. The goal counted. And the sense at that time was, okay, well, all the managers seem to be in favor of that. Well, are they still in favor of that? I don't know that it'll go to a vote, but I believe they'll have discussion on it, because of what I said a minute ago. Everything relates to the postseason. What if a play like that determined a playoff series or ended up in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final? Would everyone still be okay with it, or would the league get absolutely vilified for allowing such a play like that to result in a good goal? So those are some of the things that they'll discuss here. And Department of Player Safety is always kind of a hot button item as well.
Salary cap come up at all again after the hurdle deal, or?
Well,
I know they're not doing anything wrong, right? It's just always a unique conversation.
Right. Yes, it certainly is a unique conversation, and it's one that I can guarantee you the managers are going to have, Dusty, whether or not they have it officially in terms of on the agenda. The other thing that's neat about this meeting is not just general managers, but other parts of the National Hockey League head office especially are involved in what they call breakout sessions. So a handful of managers will get together. There'll be one or two people from NHL hockey operations or officiating, those sorts of folks who are involved in these breakout sessions. And they just conjure up ideas. Colin Campbell, the head of hockey operations, will submit a couple of items that he wants each group to talk about. And then they hash it out in a smaller group environment. And if it, kind of provokes a bigger conversation, then maybe it does get to the main floor of the meeting. So I suspect that, the LTIR issue and the fact that there's no salary cap in the playoffs will one more time be discussed. I know we're going to talk about it here in our covering of the GM meetings. And don't forget, it was Kenny Holland who first tabled this a couple of years ago. And it made good sense. The league is governed by a salary cap the majority of the year. And then for the playoffs, it just, disappears, and you end up with situations like the Vegas Golden Knights have been in the last couple of seasons. I guess in defense, what I would say is it's not like the rules are bent or changed, to help out one team, be it Vegas or historically the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, every team can utilize the system the same way. And what's unfortunate is that in this case, Mark Stone suffered a lacerated spleen and is out for the remainder of the regular season. And that's why Vegas was able to do what they can do. So it's not like they're changing the rules for one team.
It's always an interesting discussion on this because, I mean, you said it right in there, and I know you're probably talking about it on Darren Dreger, and you said your coverage at TSN this week as well, is that you could just say, well, when you drop the puck in a playoff game, you have to be cap compliant. And I'm trying to figure out, I don't know if it was with you we discussed last week, like who would be opposed to that?
Yeah.
Why would somebody be opposed to that?
It's a good question, and I don't have a firm answer for you. Maybe it's the Players Association.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, would they be opposed to this?
They might be. I'm not really sure why, other than from a Players Association perspective, you probably want as many players available to that team, at the last second possible as you can. More players around the NHL team, the better for everybody, certainly for those players. But that wouldn't have to change. You could have as many players around the team as you want. You just, you can't ice a roster that is above X number of dollars, whatever that is. But it's a CBA issue. It's not as simple as us talking about it or the managers talking about it and deciding collectively, okay, well, let's do this. I mean, they'd have to re-engage with the Players Association and negotiate inside or at the end of the collective bargaining agreement to make it happen. And that might be a long shot as well.
NHL Insider with TSN, Darren Dreger with us here on the Nielsen Show today, brought to you by Pro-Am Sports. We got the Oilers and Avs on Saturday night, and just lived up to the hype. I know everybody was freaking out here in Edmonton because they lost, but I said, you didn't watch that game and change your opinion on a playoff series between the two teams. You just want a playoff series between the two teams.
I mean, isn't that what hockey's supposed to be about, right? I mean, the pace of that game was incredible. And, there wouldn't be a fan base that wouldn't be excited. They didn't love the outcome. I can appreciate and understand all that. But when you look at the star factor here, largely what happened is you had the mega stars in McDavid, Draisaitl, and Rantanen and Nathan MacKinnon more or less neutralize each other until there was an opportunity. And we saw that opportunity with McKinnon and Makar, which ended up being the deciding goal in the game, clearly. I look at Colorado, and I don't mean this disrespectful of what the Oilers are capable of. Of course, the Oilers could win the Stanley Cup. Or some of the other teams in the West, like Winnipeg, that loaded up. The Dallas Stars got better. We talked about the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, go down the list of all those capable teams in the West. I still look at Colorado, and if I were a betting man, I'd put a good chunk of dough on the Avs. Why wouldn't you? I mean, they were strong before they added the pieces that they added, and Sean Walker and Middlestat, and I mean, go down the list of all the ads that Chris McFarland brought in to bolster this team, and they've got Gabe Landeskog potentially coming into the mix, perhaps as early as the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So just terrific hockey, the Oilers and the Avs. And what's sad is if they were to meet in the playoffs, one team obviously doesn't move forward, and that would be disappointing.
Well, Darren, I was just going to follow it up with your thoughts on the Central Division as a whole, and you've got 3 teams right now logjam this morning on 91 points, albeit different games played. Winnipeg 67, Colorado 68, and the Dallas at the 69. But I guess your answer would be Colorado coming out of those 3. I mean, great goaltending to Foley with a pair last night for the Jets as well. You talk about acquisition pieces, but is it still the Avalanche within that Central you'd find top of the roost at season's end?
It is for me, but man, we're splitting hairs here, right?
Yeah.
You really shouldn't look by the Winnipeg Jets. Kevin Cheveldayoff probably doesn't get enough credit for everything that he's done. And I think that you can date it back to the Pierre-Luc Dubois trade with Los Angeles, and then fast forward to the extensions of Scheifele and Hellebuck. And then you look at the mid-season, late-season ads of Monahan and obviously Tyler Toffoli. I mean, he's just done masterful management work. The tipping point, maybe if you're going pro Winnipeg, is the most obvious, and that's Connor Hellebuck having another Vezina quality year. And elite level goaltending just masks so many things, but can also be, again, a tipping point when it comes to winning games that matter in the playoffs. But it's a coin flip for all those clubs. I guess I just lean towards the Avalanche, mostly because of the experience and what Rick Tocchet said on Wednesday night after that Canucks game. And Vancouver Canucks had that game in hand until they didn't. Until Nathan McKinnon said, no, I'm going to take this game. I mean, those are the words of Rick Tocchet, and that's exactly what happened in that third period. And I think that's just playoff experience and knowing what it takes to win a Stanley Cup.
Well, I said last week on the station on one of the shows, basically, if Cale Makar is a great playoff, Colorado's probably going to win the Stanley Cup because he's like nothing against Quinn Hughes. Roman Josi, when you watch Nashville and what they've been doing lately, Roman Josi can dictate a game as well. I get it. Yeah. But Makar he's such a cheat code compared to what other teams have on their blue lines. It's tough, man. He's going to be a tough guy to stop.
I mean, we often think about the greatest players of all time. And of course, Wayne Gretzky is at the head of that list. And but you also think of players who revolutionized the position. And I think of Bobby Orr on defense, right? And Cale Makar is the closest thing I think we have to what Bobby Orr once was in the National Hockey League. So, I mean, when he gets going, man, he is near impossible to stop. And the beauty of his game is he knows when to go. It's not like he has a green light all the time. He probably does. I mean, if you're Jared Bednar, I mean, you just let a guy like that go. But it's like he's and it makes it's a big part of why he's such a terrific star in the National Hockey League is his hockey IQ. And his ability to defend is just about as impressive as it is when he turns on the jets and makes offensive plays.
Dregs, as always, man, we appreciate the time. You enjoy the next few days in the sunshine, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Well, the next time you see me, which will be online or on SportsCenter, you will see the ocean behind me and not this palm tree and a parking lot.
Yeah, that works out okay then. All right, well, have fun.
Hey, guys, thank you.
Darren Dreger, living the good life this week. Covering the NHL meetings, and we'll see what comes out of there. There'll be discussions. Obviously, the guys on Insider Trading will have a bunch of things that the hockey world will likely discuss this week. The West is just it's a bloodbath coming in the playoffs here. Like I'm talking all season about the Central and what they've got going there in Winnipeg and Colorado. And Dallas has kind of been up and down, but Dallas is still right there with them. And then the hottest team in the division is actually the Nashville Predators.
Well, you look at the wild card, and I mean, if you go to the East and you look, like there's all those teams kind of fighting for a spot, but
there's some teams hanging around there.
The wild card, I mean, the Preds, the Golden Knights, the Blues are still, trying to make a case for themselves, but all these teams having to play really good hockey here, and Yeah, the Preds since, what was the metric, February 1st or something, New Year? I mean, they're right up there with one of the top 3 records in the league. So, yeah, it's tough looking at that Central. Obviously, the Canucks doing what they're doing within the division here. Kings, fiddle them out with the Knights for a wild card team every second night. I guess they're switching spots, but it's a lot of quality around the conference. Does Sid get the Penguins back into that wild card spot?
I don't know. I mean, I have them in a fantasy league that I really need him to crank it up a notch, so I'd be okay with that. But like Washington's right there too.
Yeah.
It's
who wants it?
Yeah, I don't think whoever the wild card team in the East ends up being, you're gonna have to worry about them. Like if you're the Florida Panthers,
not so much as in the West.
Not so much as in the West. It's gonna be tough. Like if the West wild card teams end up being Nashville and Vegas.
Nashville are a sneaky. Like people are starting to talk a bit more. How could you not? But the goaltending there too as well. I mean, you get into the playoffs. Who's to say what happens and get a little streaky.
If you are watching on YouTube today, please give us a subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hammer the thumbs up too. We appreciate. We like to hit a couple hundred every single show, so give us the thumbs up if you are watching. Unless of course you think our content is awful, that's okay too. I guess. I mean, we don't want to tell you how to think, but we would appreciate the thumbs up.
Shanked one with a nice text. Good morning, guys. The frustrating thing about the end of the Avs game is that they did just the same thing twice in Buffalo and said they'd learned from it. Clearly they did not. Exclamation point. Also, if you want to be lazy at the end of OT, why doesn't Dry just take a penalty and hook his man instead of letting him go? Shanked one.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, what happened there was Draisaitl got puck watching and didn't realize that Lehkonen jumped him. And then when he looked, it was too late to get there. It just needs to have more awareness. Now, I'm not going to read too much. It's a tough one. It's a tough spot. If you want to chime in, let's get into it. We got a cool bet hotline of the day coming up here. And then, that's good. Dave Naylor around 740.
You going to give me the tap? Do I watch for the tap?
Yeah, I'll give you the tap. Keyword for the Vegas trip, the EST Flyway with FlyYG in about an hour. Give that in about an hour, okay? You're going to have a good chance to qualify, get in the mix to possibly win a trip to Vegas. 2 nonstop flights, 3 nights accommodations, tickets to a Cirque show, flexible booking. It's a great trip. Be ready for it. We'll go there around 8:20 this morning. But your thoughts on the Oilers and Avs? Let's get into it here a little bit. I said it on the postgame show. I said it again in the 6 o'clock hour. Nothing happened in that game that would make me change my opinion on that series being a barn burner. Anyway, yeah, Colorado won it. Congratulations. You're up 1-0 in the series. I know it's like you want to win game 1. I get it. But it's a tough one because I also don't want to read into any 3-on-3 overtime because it doesn't exist when hockey actually matters. And you would think in a regular NHL overtime in the playoffs, as they continue on to play the way they play, Bouchard tries harder going into the corner, and Leon Draisaitl has more awareness because there's 3 seconds left in overtime, wasn't paying attention, got beat on it.
You live to fight another day here.
Yeah. I mean, but it's okay for fans and like us watching the game to be like, it's probably going to shootout. But Bouchard and Leon can't have that same mentality in the final moments of a hockey game.
Right.
What was your big takeaway from that game? And let's get to a few thoughts on this one. Jay is in and says, McKinnon has been better than McDavid this season. Hate to say it. And Makar is better than any of our defense. That's in from Jay, obviously breaking down the Oilers' side of it. That is the X factor in this series. It would be Cale Makar. Right? Like, nothing against Sean Walker, who just beat the hell out of the Oilers.
Showed up, yeah.
But in the end, the true difference maker in that series should be Cale Makar. We broke it down earlier. Goaltending, relatively close, maybe a slight edge to Skinner. Maybe more of an edge to Skinner, depending on who you talk to. But Georgiev, he plays he's a little bit of a freelancer between the pipes. Like a few of the saves he made, he was still like partway through coming out to challenge, and I wasn't sure he really had positioning, but he gets in front of pucks. He's like me playing goalie mode on NHL 24 last night after everybody was in bed. I decided to do one goalie mode game last night. Oh, man. I thought I was doing really well. It was 2-2, and then sure enough, 15 seconds left. Anders Lee scores on me. I was Bobrovsky, and I take the L 3-2. It was tough. I made a lot of good saves.
See, would you rather have Lehkonen doing it with point or Anders Lee doing it with minutes remaining, right? Like,
yeah, I felt
that's frustrating.
I felt doing NHL goalie mode how Georgiev looks sometimes to me. I was just like, damn it. Real heartbreaker, though. That's kind of boring doing goalie mode.
I can't. I don't know. Like people, they find it fun to know when they're like, oh, let's play Chell, and they just play goalie. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, there's nothing. I don't know. It's not like goalie in real life. It's hard to do. I don't find the joy in it. Like the animations that the goalie does. It's not even like if you're position yourself. Like he'll do the glove save. You don't even get that satisfying glove save. The AI just does it for you. So I don't get it. I've never really dug into that.
All I was doing last night was 2-pad stacking, and then you can barrel roll over to the other side of the 2-pad stack. So I was just like going back and forth the 2-pad stacks. I don't know why. I should have gone to bed. It was like 9:30, and I was just like, I don't know, because I played Marsh earlier in the day, and I was just like, man, I just want to play a game of goalie mode. So I did. I ended up losing, so I don't want to be a goalie now. It sucked. Anyway, but Cale Makar is like if the forward groups, if there's a slight advantage to the Oilers in the overall forward group, and I think there should be. I don't know if we saw that on Saturday, but I think there should be.
Dreger points out too Landeskog. That's also a name.
Well, we'll see what happens. People have been waiting for Landeskog since Marshall was
there. It's
6.
there.
He's 9. So I think the Oilers have an advantage up front, but it wasn't super apparent on Saturday night. We know the Avs have an advantage on the blue line. That was very apparent. Their third pairing Rishaug guy was the most productive defenseman on the ice that night. And then between the goaltenders, I mean, it would kind of come down to like what type of zone each one of them is in at that point. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. D. Whitey's in this says, does anyone have the numbers for 5v5 with Draisaitl and McDavid on the same line for the past 4 or 5 years? No, I don't have that right now, but I do know that we played this earlier, or we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Draisaitl's 5-on-5 production with McDavid this year was like 2 or 3 goals. And it was interesting because what happened in that game? Beginning of the third period, McDavid and Draisaitl together. And how it ended up working with Draisaitl was -3 in the game. And the Oilers got goals from other lines. So I know they had some great pressure a couple of times that like really sort of dropped the hammer down. But what happens in a playoff series? Like, is it, Colorado's having a good game 1. Well, better put McDavid and Draisaitl together. And then game 2, they're apart and things go well. So they just leave them apart. And then, trouble in game 3, put them together. What do you think they do in a playoff series against the Colorado Avalanche?
Well, and this is what's Chris Knobloch going to do as well, right? And I think, I don't know if it was the same texters here asking, what was his question? Like the 5-on-5 numbers with the both of them? I don't know. Somebody in here texted as well saying that it was, again, too much. It was too much. They looked tired. I don't know. It's always an option. What is it? Goaltending, forwards, defense. If you look, guys, this is a hot take to say Taves is a better D-man than anyone the Oilers have. I'm tempted to say Stetcher will have a game the next time these two teams face each other, a la Sean Walker.
Well, wouldn't that be something?
Well, it'd be a nice kind of answer the bell here, but I don't know, man. Like, it's a goal, 0.5 seconds. Yeah, Leon looks lazy sometimes. Yeah, whatever. But it's vibes coming off that Vegas game to which we were in Las Vegas for. Give it again. It'll probably have somewhat of the same outcome. It's going to be tight. And maybe it is decided in those moments where a guy, takes time off for a half second here or a second there. That's how it's going to be. The margins will be quite thin, but
that's why some people will be
15th.
That's why some people will be concerned about those because, if you let up for even a moment in a playoff game, it could come back to bite you in the butt.
In the playoff game. Like, now, whatever. I mean, get it out of you now. Take your losses, use it as bulletin board material. I don't know, but
somebody has to pick up Sean Walker on the game-tying goal. He came right down Main Street, right up the gut, wide open. Like, somebody has to be aware and have a sense of urgency to kind of pick him up at that point.
Here's the one, the paddle boat. Hindsight's 20/20, and I wanted both Connor and Leon out there, but I think Knobloch had both out there too much. They played way too much of that overtime. I think that's final play is just a result of them being tired. But
keep your reactions rolling in here. 780-218-9999. There should be no panic coming out of one loss to the Colorado Avalanche here, but there are discussion points. So we can have those conversations. 780-218-9999. Hit us up in the nasty chat over on YouTube as well. If you're listening on TuneIn or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, make sure you tell your friends how easy it is to get that good content from EST. Let's get to your Cool Bet hotline of the day today. See if we can kind of pick up where we left off last week. Washington Capitals, Calgary Flames tonight. And the Buffalo Sabres and the Seattle Kraken tonight.
Electric.
Not a huge night for the National Hockey League. Let's just say that. I think.
Well, Buffalo's still in that chase. Be in town.
Yeah, the total in the Buffalo
Thursday.
Seattle game is set at 5.5.
Caps, Buffalo, Calgary, all still like this is Kraken too, I guess.
I think I want to get on the Caps as a dog here. Let's get. Should we ride with OV one more time?
They are the closest to getting a much more to lose than the rest.
Yeah, let's go Washington. Let's go
Yeah.
Washington as your cool bet hotline of the day at plus 116 against the Calgary Flames. I know the Caps have been on this road trip and stuff, but grinded one out against the Canucks. Can they go into Calgary and get a valuable 2 points there as well? I don't mind the value on them as a dog at plus 116. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. That'll be your cool bet hotline of the day. Washington Capitals plus 116 on the road against the Calgary Flames. Let's get to more of your reaction. 780-218-9999. I love after a big game like this, right? It's a game you can read into. Not sorry to the Montreal Canadiens, Buffalo Sabres rolling into town this week. Yeah, it's going to be great. We're going to have lots of things to discuss, but I'm not going to see you in the playoffs. I don't have to worry about you in the playoffs. Colorado, you give you a good read on a few things. Let's see here. Chaos Never Died says Bouchard needs to stop kissing guys in the corner and actually play defense. Johnny B, Leon in the playoffs, not a question. One leg or two, right? He's expecting Leon to step up in the postseason. That's what Amishman19 says, too. He says, seems to me like everyone forgets how Leon steps up in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, I know. We get it both ways. When he steps up, he's a performer and everything, but when they lose, it's lazy body language and optics, and yeah.
Leo Zinna says, I do not think the others have figured out their second line yet. Well, they have. They just don't stick to it. Like, their second line, like Fogle, Draisaitl, and McLeod, seems fine. In a perfect world, you'd like Evander Kane to, like, have this top six forward impact, but him and Leon just don't work together. They just don't gel together. It's obvious. And you need more from Adam Henrique. There, I said it.
Well,
yeah, I got the mid right here. I'll keep it.
No extension just yet, hey? Is that
well, you got to pump the brakes. Whoever's throwing out this extension talk. Like, you cannot. It's been a week. It's been a week, and he hasn't made that much of an impact yet. You can't be talking 3-year extension with Adam Henrique already. Go through the playoff. Like, why would Adam Henrique be the type of guy that you're like, we've got to get this guy signed immediately? Go through the playoffs, see how he looks. If he has an impact, if he has an impact, sure, have the discussion. But if you go through the playoffs and you're like, well, probably we're expecting a little bit more from that guy, I can just go throw a 3-year contract on him. Let's see how he looks. Johnny Japan is in and says, Oilers still have 4 guys still looking to gel with their teammates. The Avs have 2. Walker seems to have seamlessly entered the Avs lineup. Well, he looked good in that game.
Well,
we watched the rest of Colorado's games.
And it's just too bad he was the guy to have to feature and given the deadline and given the position and given everything else. That's what I'm saying. Maybe it's Stetcher that answers the bell next time they lock horns again. But yeah, of all the players who'd have to go on and lead them to victory, it was, of course, Sean Walker.
This text is in and says, honestly, just an unreal game to watch all around. Love seeing the best v best. Oilers had just as good a chance of winning with the Nuge breakaway. Bring on the playoffs. Yes.
Sure. Okay, there you go.
Nuge breakaway. Changes. If he wins it in overtime, it's like, oh my God. Like, how are the Avs going to beat the Oilers in the playoffs? It's one game. It went to overtime. It's a toss-up between these two teams. All right, let's get to a sports update here for Park Mazda. Coming up on the other side, that's good. And Dave Naylor's going to pop by around 7:40 here, and we're going to dive into the Oilers or the Elks ownership situation. How many individuals are looking? What type of person are they looking for? We'll get into that a little bit coming up. Ryan Rishaug around 8:25. And, of course, your keyword for the EST Flyway to Vegas with FlyYEG coming up around 8:20 this morning. That's 49 minutes from now. Sports update. LTE for Park Mazda.
Oilers' 4-game homestand will close out this week with games tomorrow against the Habs and Thursday against the Sabres, as the club licking their wounds slightly following a overtime loss to the Avalanche Saturday night. Yesterday around the NHL, it was the Blues doubling up Anaheim 4-2. Tyler Toffoli notching a pair in the Jets' 6-1 win over Columbus. And Vegas over New Jersey 3-1. Pair of games around the league tonight. Seattle hosts Buffalo, and the Capitals visit the Flames. Defending national champion UConn, a day removed from winning the Big East. They're selected as the men's number 1 overall seed. During the NCAA Tournament Selection Show yesterday, the Huskies joined on the one line by Houston, Purdue, and the North Carolina Tar Heels. Raptors dropping one in Orlando, 111-96. The Lakers will host the Hawks tonight, one of 8 games around the NBA. Edmonton Oil Kings, they fall at home to the Broncos yesterday, 5-4. The season will wrap up for the Oil Kings Saturday in Red Deer in Game 1 of a home-and-home with the Rebels. Toronto over Montreal 2-1 in the PWHL. Action resumes Wednesday with a pair of games. Scotty Sheffler hitting a 64 in the final round to become the first repeat winner of the Players' Championship. And round 1 of the Inter-Pipeline Cup AJHL playoffs will continue tonight with just the lone game. Calgary Canucks visiting the Grand Prairie Storm, with the Canucks up 2-0. Sports update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki, who's excited again that it's Formula One race week.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching the button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Step closer to the hollow, the devil may care. If I showed you around my heart, would you mind if I shared to show you what's wrong with me? I will not change it. I will wait patiently while you get painted out. Let me into your untainted tribe, to be the one who gets to live a lie. Oh, let me lie with you. I'll be a perfect stranger. I wanna be that stupid boy that you don't talk about. You better believe there's a sharp knife beside my bed. You better believe there's a sharp knife inside my head. And if you would leave, I would take you by the hand. You and I would leave, but it wouldn't be that bad.
Whale and the Wolf, EST house band, coming from the closet and delivering the goods, man. If you've not checked out Whale and the Wolf yet, what are you even doing here? My goodness. The boys rock. Rima yesterday said he would be in for a 2-hour hangout of Marshall and the Muzz.
Yeah.
I like Rima actually like overseeing that conversation.
Oh, that'd be. Yeah.
Maddie and Tommy get the day off. It's just Ryan Meyer from Whale and the Wolf with my 2 kids. And we'll see how that goes over. That'd be pretty entertaining.
Only 2.
Yeah. Dave Naylor coming up here in about 5 minutes. Right now, we've got to get to That's Good. And this is real good for Italian Center Shop. By the way, Italian Center, I don't think there's any downtime at Italian Center Shop. Like, none ever. I don't think there's like a quiet time there.
Oh, no.
It is just, they need to make like 9 more Italian Center Shops. They just have to.
Each department.
It's just.
And coming from the grocery game, you know, sometimes some department's more busy than the next or whatever. They're always constantly, consistently humming. at like a
All the
7.5, 8. Like they're always a little busy. You take a number, there's usually generally 3 to 5 people maybe ahead of you. You wait a little bit, you get your order, but it is buzzing. The cafe's buzzing, the bakery's buzzing, the produce department's buzzing, the meat counter, the deli counter, all that buzzing. But this is
can you smell these right now?
A sweet pickup.
Come on. So
please tell me there's a cream horn in here.
Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what's in here. So we picked up some of these donuts. I mean, if you like this, how heavy this is. I can barely curl this, and I'm pretty jacked. All right, so you will notice there are some donuts missing, as the Nielsen family picked these up yesterday. And what am I going to do? I'm going to tell my wife and kids they can't have a delicious donut from Italian Center Shop. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that.
Look at that.
We got 2 boxes of these boys.
A little green.
This is going to be great. Yeah, well, there's some green ones in there. Obviously, yesterday was St. Patty's Day. So this box hasn't been touched yet.
The colors on those.
I know. This is great. These things smell delicious. Trev, come over here and take a smell of this, and then put it up by the camera.
This one's a little more. That one's a little more adventurous with the.
Yeah,
colors.
That one's a little more plain Jane. Smell
your,
this thing. Smell that thing.
This is your coffee time. Okay,
oh, it smells nice, doesn't it? Go in. So this is what you have to do this week. You got to swing by Italian Center Shop and pick up some donuts for the staff, man. Like. This is unbelievable.
Yeah,
all
homemade.
Right. I'm gonna get in on one of these. I'm gonna have Trev have a donut, buddy.
Want some of these?
These are so good.
Cake powdered.
Oh, these ones. They got like a cookie.
Was that a biscotti?
Oh, Trev, show the camera. He's going sprinkles. The kid's going sprinkles. Woo-hoo. Unbelievable. What are you gonna get in on, buddy?
Jeez,
this has to be one of the best partnerships we've ever had.
There is a lot going on here. Give me that old green one.
There we go.
Okay.
A St. Patty's Day special. Oh, should be a good St. Patty's Day for you, Lieutenant Eric. Eh?
No pinks for me.
All right. There we go. Italian Center Shop. That's good. These things are absolutely delicious. You got to swing on by this week. Go in. Go over to the bakery and get yourself. Pick up a dozen for the staff. Hell, pick up a dozen for your family. Dare I say, pick up a dozen for yourself.
There's no limit. They won't. Box for the staff, box for the family, box for yourself.
Zaticum's going to come in here today and do that goat thing. He's going to see these donuts and just pass out. Freeze and pass out.
His eyes are going to light up.
Zaticum loves food around here. He's a growing kid, right? So, these are delicious.
2 hours of Zach in the hangout today. How many donuts does he have? 702 and 899.99.
Definitely put these on the table over there. Okay. That's good. Joey Votto. Joey freaking Votto. First at bat, first pitch, solo shot, it's out of here, and that's it. Then he came out of the game. Joey Votto trying to make the Toronto Blue Jays went 1-for-1 with a bomb yesterday. He only saw one pitch. How's this guy not on the team?
Now, off the top of the, it wasn't your classic, she gone, stops at second, realizes it's a home run. So maybe like a kind of a funny, I'm sure he's got that sense of humor where he'd kind of laugh at this too. But nice trot. I mean, look, whatever happens with him moving forward with this team, I think whatever. This is nice.
You know
and
why
we talked
stopped,
to Keegan.
Right?
Well, because
he's a humble Canadian.
He's
like, I probably didn't hit it out. I'll just stop at second.
He apologized for hitting the top of the wall because it wasn't so definitive. But yeah, look, nothing too expected with this acquisition. But hey, certainly if he can do this and add a bit, I mean that's a bonus. And having him around as kind of that mascot type of player, I'm all for it.
These donuts are so good. That's good. I don't see Italian Center Shop giving us a product where we're like, it's okay. Like, the whole bloody place is delicious. That's why it's jammed all the time. Like,
it's fresh. Unlike Joey Votto's career. Like, it's
on the tail end. Joey Votto's career
these donuts early days
has been in the fridge for 20 years.
Sure, exactly.
And you're like, uh-oh.
But not like these donuts.
These things are delicious. Amish Man 19 says, I've had paninos and the pizza recently, all bought by people who don't listen to the show. The Italian Center quality speaks for itself.
I know Wheels was there Friday, I think, over the weekend. He said his nose, he was just following his nose around the place. You're smelling the bakery. Mm-hmm. You're smelling the pizzas, everything. He's just kind of rolling around following the nose.
Do you want anything, sir? Nope.
Aisle to aisle.
That's it. Very good. Very good. Senior Boots is in and says, the engineer doctor is not recommending you eat all those donuts. Don't get me started. Yeah, you shouldn't have a dozen donuts, Dusty.
Not
who are you? Yeah. Well, I have a PhD. In what? Engineering. Well, keep your comments to yourself, sir.
I sure hope the donuts are better than Dusty's Irish accent. Comes in from DJ Petrie.
What are you talking about? I thought I nailed it. There'd be a good little donut for you, sir.
Like how your volume just goes up.
Is that all it is?
Volume and pitch.
Boys, I spend a lot of my time doing impressions of like Jar Jar and all the ones I do really well. So I don't have a great Italian or Irish accent. Never have. Trev, you got an Irish accent?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Not even try. Eric, you probably have a pretty good accent, eh?
What do you?
Did you email Naylor a video link?
More of a Cork or
Yep.
Belfast?
Which one? Oh, he said he got it. He's going to connect here. Oh, by the way, this is a nice little bonus. I forgot. Scott Laurie's coming in for Beer of the Week today.
What?
Oh, that's right, because we didn't do it Friday.
So we're going to have Vegas word, Rishaug, Beer of the Week. Yeah. Yeah. That's real nice. Anyway, Joey Votto, this would be a great story. If at some point in the season, you get to see Joey Votto for the Toronto Blue Jays coming in, raking bombs, I think people would be pretty excited about it. So that's good for Italian Center Shop. You got your donut down too, eh? These aren't things that you can nibble on here. There's
well, and they're light. They're not like heavy.
That's right. That's a good point.
Very easy to eat. Yeah.
Yeah. There's donuts for the boys for the next couple of days here. I'm gonna be. Yeah, you can take it back if you want. I'm gonna be messaging Ryan over at Italian Center Shop like by Wednesday and be like, "Hey, need more donuts for Friday?" And then, hey, I'll pick up some more on Sunday for next week because they are absolutely delicious. Swing on by, multiple locations, and you have to try these things. They're terrific, absolutely terrific. Keyword for Vegas coming up in about 38 minutes. Ryan Rishaug around 8:25 today. Sober and Safe with Liquor Beer of the Week at 8:40 today. We'll give you a chance to win a gift certificate there. Interesting story broke last week. We've been discussing for a couple of days now, but Dave Naylor on the Elks ownership. We're going to get into that a little bit more with Dave. And Trev, if we're good to go, bring him over. Let's have a little conversation here. Dave Naylor, we had you on last week. And then I texted you and I said, if you were going to drop this Elks story, we could have just had you on later in the week. You should have given me a heads up. But that's a big one here locally, eh? That's be interesting. The timeline I find very fascinating. Like, they're not messing around here, are they?
No, as I understand it, there's about a month to go until they're going to cut off expressions of interest. Then there's about a month to shortlist, which gets you kind of to mid-May, and they want to make a decision, mid-June. And the Elks' first game is June the 8th. There's no hard deadline here. I think that it needs to be sort of emphasized that there's no necessity to get this done. Like, it's not like the team's going to run out of money by week 4 or something if they don't get a new owner. In fact, they probably have enough in the bank that even with 2 more poor seasons, they could get through 2 more years. So this is not a death. Like we've seen distress sales in the CFL before. This is not one of those. So they can work on. They can stretch this timeline if they want. But I think there's why wait? Like, if we've got. I mean, I saw you mentioned, I had more than a dozen non-disclosure agreements. You mentioned you'd heard 19.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's any shortage. I mean, you look at the sales that have gone on and on and on and kind of endlessly in the CFL, it's been the opposite problem. Not enough people that were interested or not enough credible. And I think, when you talk about a number like more than a dozen or 19, there's going to be a decent percentage of those people that are just kind of, kicking tires, right? I don't think that means you've got 19 bids, but obviously the more you get, if you figure that a certain percentage of expressions of interest are going to be serious and going to have the capitalization to make it happen, the more the better, because you're going to likely come away with more serious bids the more you get.
What type of deal does this end up being? Is this similar to how Mardoman kind of took over the BC Lions? Is that what we're talking about here, or is it going to be different?
Well, Amar Doman, bought the Lions coming out of COVID, right?
Yeah.
And David Braley had passed away, and there was so much uncertainty around the league in general that, I don't think he paid a whole lot for that franchise. And again, he bought it off the estate of David Braley. My understanding is there wasn't a real premium paid, just because I don't know how many people were interested in the team at that time. And again, just the state of the league and the business of the CFL at that time was very uncertain. In this case, it's really interesting because it's a nonprofit that's selling the team. So, like, what do they do with the money they get for the team other than, turn it over to another nonprofit? I don't know. It's unclear about how that would work. But what I think that means is that an offer, like traditionally the way a sports franchise sells, it's just the owner wants every cent they can get for the franchise and they turn the keys over. In this one, I think it's going to be far more about what you're willing to invest in the team, in its infrastructure, in perhaps a new stadium or a significant retrofit of Commonwealth. So if you had an owner who's came along and said, hey, I'll give you $1 for that franchise, but I'm going to commit, and I mean not commit in words, but commit on paper, that I'm going to put $40 million into this team, to boost its season ticket base, to build, to modernize some of its infrastructure, to work, to invest in a new stadium. That's the kind of offer, I think. And then you would see the league announce, maybe, I don't know, sometimes they don't announce these things, but you could say, that the Elks changed hands in a deal that was worth $40 million, even though, a very, very small percentage of that may have gone to the actual franchise fee. So I think it's a better way to sell a team because you are really looking for an owner who's going to take care of this and going to invest in it, not just whatever you can get for the franchise and then turn it over and, who knows where you go from there. So I actually think it's advantageous for the, sort of the fans and the community of Edmonton that's the way this comes down. You're looking for somebody who's really going to be a caretaker for the franchise, not just somebody who's going to pay a big number for the fee.
Well, and Dave, you had a piece up at tsn.ca last week, and one of the players, too, Garrick Jones, has kind of emerged from this. I know during this process there are, wallflowers at the back of the room, just kind of waiting and seeing what happens. And then there's a guy like Garrick Jones, former player who's been doing the media rounds and kind of, going off about what he would do, what he wouldn't do, and all these other things. We're to see him stacking in this kind of race, obviously taking it very public early on. And for some people who may not know, what's he kind of been saying that in terms of his ownership style would maybe be different than the field?
Well, I think he's talking about the fact that he's getting together with other players and that he's a former Edmonton player. So he understands the community. He understands the meaningfulness of the team. He understands just the relationship between the community and the football team. That's what he's been saying. And again, I haven't spoken to Garrick Jones, but I'm certainly familiar with. I believe it was a week ago today, was on global television in Edmonton, and that got some attention. Which was, obviously I was aware of kind of what was going on behind the scenes of the Elks before the story surfaced later in the week. So that one caught my attention because I knew there was, the expressions of interest were kind of being sought after, and his is obviously one of them. Now, I'm going to say this without trying to be, because I don't have specific knowledge of Garrick Jones's bid or his group or what puts it together, but I will give you, just in my experience doing this for a long time, prospective owners who seek publicity in advance of a sale rarely end up as the owners. Now, that doesn't mean that Garrick Jones couldn't be the exception, okay? I'm not dismissing him or his group because I don't have specific knowledge of it, and I don't want that to come across as, well, he's obviously not serious because he's got out and talked to the media. I've just said that in seeing CFL franchises change hands, for a long time, there have been lots of would-be owners, potential owners who do get out in front of the cameras and get out to the media, and those generally are not the people who end up owning the teams. But that's a general statement, not one specifically directed at Garrick Jones and his group.
How much do we look into the fact that as much interest as there appears to be, great for Edmonton, but that's got to be a really good sign for the league and where it's at a few years coming out of COVID, right? Like,
I think it absolutely is, and I think, look, this is a team that made money like every year till 2018. Like, I think this is a basket case franchise that, that with a terrible market and all those kinds of things. I mean, it's interesting to look at the books. And one of the advantages we have in the CFL with community-owned teams is we can actually look at the books and we can track it, right? With Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, and Edmonton, they publish their balance sheets every year. That's part of the deal. So you can see where this thing kind of started to go, right, in 2019, and then they go into the pandemic and they come out in 2021, and the name change, some of that, fractured some of the fan base, no question. And you combine that with the losing, and you just get sort of empty stadiums, and it just kind of snowballs. When you lose 21 in a row at home, obviously you're not sending the fans home happy very often. So, yeah, I think overall, as a statement, and I think the fact that, there's a lot of debate about the state of the league. I always get asked, how's the league doing? But I think one of the things that this league right now and in my experience has never been stronger, is when you look at the Board of Governors table and just look at the two franchises that have changed hands under Randy Ambrosie. I mean, Amar Doman, I mean, I think everybody would say if you could give Edmonton the Edmonton Amar Doman, they would take that right now, right? Pierre-Carl Pelledo in Quebec, who is worth more than $3 billion. I mean, just the kind of, the business connections and expertise and wealth around the Board of Governors table at this league. I mean, there were times when I've covered this league where there were people with some pretty marginal wealth that owned these teams. And, if you got 2 rain dates and went 2-5, they're going to throw the keys up in the middle of July and say, here, someone take this over. I mean, I'm going back a little bit here in this, but that's not what's going to happen with the kind of people that are around the Board of Governors table now. So I think you look at the group that you're joining. I think that probably matters to would-be owners when they look at who else owns teams in this league. And here's the other thing, guys, is that, besides the fact that Edmonton has a long history, I don't think people feel like it's an impossible road back, to profitability and a healthy franchise. Is, you want to own a professional football team. I'm sure they're getting interest from people in the United States that may not have that much familiarity with Edmonton. But if you want to own a professional football team, in a stadium, in a league that's on TV, that has fan bases, that cares, that matters. I mean, look at the price point in the Canadian Football League versus, your other option, right? I mean, the NFL is completely out of reach, even for super wealthy people in the United States and Canada right now. So I think that's another thing that you look at. You could get into professional football ownership, at a fraction of what it would cost you to even get a piece of an NFL team. So I think there's that as well. But I do think that's a really, really positive sign for the league that, I think we would say a real marquee franchise comes up, you've got this much interest. And I say that those, we talk about, I'll quote your number, Dustin, 19 expressions of interest. That was like before there was any publicity around it. And, I think that my report last week and you guys continuing to talk about this, how many more people know about this team being available than did 4 days ago, right? So I think you're probably going to see that number grow by the time we get to, the middle of April.
Yeah, Dave, before we let you go, tell us a little bit about Theo Johnson. You're at his pro day. It looks like he's going to be drafted relatively high for a Canadian.
Yeah, Theo Johnson is a player out of Windsor, Ontario. He has actually an older brother, Dominic Johnson, who played at the University of Buffalo, and I believe was the 32nd pick of the CFL draft about 3 years ago. He just opted not to play professional football. But he's from an athletic family in Windsor. Was one of the top recruits, was the number one recruit out of Canada when I believe in 2019 when he began there, was one of the top tight end recruits at his position in North America. And if you look at the end of the season, he's a super athletic guy, didn't have a ton of production in college, but one of the lines they use about the combine is, traits over production. And when you look at Theo Johnson's traits, I mean, he became, the NFL combine, he became the first tight end since they've been keeping track of these things since 1987, to weigh over 255 pounds, run a sub 4.6 second 40-yard dash, and vertical over 39 inches. So, I mean, he's a big man who could move really fast, and he's really powerful. He had an excellent pro day when I was there on Friday. And right now, I mean, one of the ESPN analysts has him as the third tight end off the board after Brock Bowers at Georgia, the kid from Texas, and then it's Theo Johnson. So he's expected to be a day 2 pick. 6'6", 260. He's a big guy, and a really remarkable, really remarkable story of a guy who's come from a family with 5 brothers, 6 boys in his family. And it was really fun to be with them at the pro day. They had 5 of the 6 brothers were there. And just to see the dynamic between them and mom, it was fun. We're putting together a feature for NFL Draft Week on Theo Johnson, but it looks like he's going to be the number 1 Canadian off the board. And as I say, the third tight end. And if you're trying to project where that goes, last year there were 6 tight ends taken in the first 2 rounds. So, that gives you a pretty good idea where Theo Johnson's going to land on NFL Draft Week.
Dave, as always, man, appreciate the time. Thanks for popping by.
Hey, my pleasure. Take care, Dustin. See
All
ya.
right, there you go. That's Dave Naylor. Follow him on Twitter for, I'm assuming, more updates on the Elks ownership situation as we work our way through that timeline this morning. Just search Dave Naylor on Twitter. You will find him there. It's funny. People texted. I mean, I didn't hear much. I thought it was a good conversation, but somebody said it sounded like he was playing with Lego. Somebody else suggested he was playing with a slinky.
That was my favorite.
Did feel like a little bit like in the background that could have been like it sounded like that. But a good conversation nonetheless when it comes to Elks ownership and to see where this thing ends up. If you could get a guy like Amar Dolman who I mean, he's a figurehead for the franchise now. But is also he's just an extremely successful businessman. Comes from a family with money. But also loves the BC Lions. Loves the CFL. Loves football as a sport. Plunk somebody like that in here to take over the Edmonton Elks, and you might have something. As soon as they start winning again, they'll be making money and people will be coming back. It's that simple. Just don't lose over 20 straight games at home. Start winning some games.
As Dave says, more attractive things regarding this whole franchise than not. So it could be a really fun plaything for somebody to kind of come and acquire, and you just hope that it is somebody with that Domon mindset, I guess. And not a carbon copy, but you can, you got a lot of stuff to work with here, and that's got to be extremely attractive.
A lot of people suggesting Naylor was playing with poker chips. Like the like that. With
I do like while he's talking though, the hands are out, and that's what he's doing. Either with the slinky or the poker chips. Yeah.
His big thing is he always has to have a slinky off camera when he's doing it. When was the last time you played with a slinky?
Ooh, that's a great question.
The Muzz has a slinky. I've messed around with the slinky a few times.
I saw one used as a trap to keep squirrels away from a bird feeder. So on the pole, the squirrel will try to run with the pole. They put a slinky up top, so it gets, and then it grabs the slinky and then it shoots it back down.
Oh, that's
again.
mean.
That's pretty. Well,
I mean, it's better than killing them.
No, it doesn't. Yeah,
but still,
they go away harmless. Maybe their pride is hurt a bit, but
yeah, that damn slinky. What have they done?
They're great though. You got kids.
I used to have a slinky back. Yeah, the Muzz has a slinky.
Yeah. As a kid, you have to have one.
It's a bigger kind of plastic slinky. It's not the classic.
That's okay.
It's not the classic like
the
little metallic slinky.
Yeah. The colorful ones are great.
I used to slinky quite a bit.
But then they get tied up in a knot, like when they
that's
they
the
lose
thing. That's this plastic one. It always happens like that. And I can't. I'm just like trying to tear it apart. And Tammy's like, you just have to go like this. I'm like, this is annoying. This is lame.
Once they lose that original form, though, there's really no going back. Like you're kind of.
What was the best moment for a slinky? Was it in Ace Ventura 2 and he's using the slinky to go down like that 1,000 steps and it stops on the second last step?
It always bugged me. It's just like that's why we all have anxiety.
So close. Yeah, that's what the slinky provided.
Pretty much, yeah. That's
anxiety for a generation.
That one step. Ugh.
I'm kind of torn where I'd be if the Elks get sold to a major U.S. corporation that's just looking to like find some sort of investment to turn around type of thing. Like I want somebody local who's got $1 billion to buy this team and loves it.
Or maybe a generous mix, and it's a great. You have some sort of celebrity or something like that, an athlete as well, and some sort of other discipline, a well-known Canadian or something, or maybe even more well-known to Edmonton. There's lots of possibilities.
Yeah. The Wiener Phantom of Commonwealth has texted in today. That's Joaquin Gage. He'll be on the show tomorrow. He's locked in, right? He's signed this whole year to go and keep slinging the weens.
The Phantom.
I'm doing my part, guys. Best dogs in the biz. He is. But if you keep dishing them out to us after, you're not helping the bottom line, Gator. Got to sell those dogs. That being said, I'll continue to take them.
Well, we're part of his spoken word kind of advertisement campaign with those.
Well, that's a good point. We are pushing the wieners.
I will continue to be your guinea pig.
Yeah.
In the blanket.
Johnny B says Elks to OEG.
Well, do you want that or not? That's another. Not to say that it's a realistic option today, of course, but would you in a scenario welcome that as an Edmonton sports fan?
Do they end up caring about it, or are they just like, oh, look at us, we own the Elks? Like I think that can go one of two ways.
It can, and some people might point to the Capitals baseball team as something that has been under the OEG umbrella in the past, and had a good time.
780-218-9999. In fact, text us there right now if you want to play kind of easy trivia. We got jam-packed third hour on the way. Vegas keyword in 20 minutes. Ryan Rishaug in 25 minutes. Sobeys and Safe with Liquor Beer of the Week in 40 minutes. 3 questions too many. Kind of easy trivia. So much more still to come on the show. If you'd like to play kind of easy trivia right now, gift certificate for Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual. The casualest place ever. 6 o'clock or lager on tap. Let's be honest. It checks all the boxes. If you want to win a gift certificate to Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual right now, text YouTube Trev and say, hey, Trev, I'd like to win a gift certificate. I want to play kind of easy trivia. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Let Trev know that you like to play. And you can start us off on the right foot this week. We had a loser to start last week.
Flush it.
Real buzzkill. Let's get a winner to start the week. Ryan Rishaug coming up, 3 questions too many, kind of easy trivia. You're 20 minutes away from having a real good chance to qualify to win a trip to Vegas with Edmonton Sports Talk. Fly YAG in the LV CVA. Right now, it is a sports update for Clayburn Services. If you're looking for work, Clayburn Services, they're not looking for you. They want you. They need you. ClayburnServices.com. Hiring all levels of apprentices and journeyman bricklayers. Eric's got more on that coming up after the update.
Tyler Toffoli with the pairs. The Jets defeat Columbus 6-1. St. Louis over Anaheim 4-2. And Vegas defeating New Jersey 3-1 around the NHL yesterday. The Oilers homestand will close out this week with a pair of games, beginning tomorrow against the Habs and Thursday against the Sabres. Sabres in Seattle tonight as well. The Capitals will visit the Flames in the only 2 games around the NHL. Defending champion UConn, a day removed from winning the Big East, selected as the men's #1 overall seed. During selection Sunday, the Huskies joined on the one line by Houston, Purdue, and North Carolina heading into March Madness. Raptors dropping in Orlando, 111-96. 8 games around the NBA tonight, including the Lakers at home to the Atlanta Hawks. The Oil Kings falling at home to the Swift Current Broncos yesterday, 5-4. Oil Kings season will wrap up Saturday in Red Deer as the Rebels and Oil Kings will return to Edmonton Sunday to wrap up the season. Toronto over Montreal 2-1 in the PWHL. Action resumes Wednesday with a pair of games. Scotty Sheffler, he hit a 64 in the final round, becoming the first repeat winner at the Players' Championship. And round 1 of the Inter-Pipeline Cup AJHL playoffs continues tonight. Just 1 game on the schedule. The Calgary Canucks visit Grand Prairie Storm. Calgary's up 2-0. Sports update for Clayburn Services. Take your career to the next level with Clayburn Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind, knowing they are an industry leader in safety. For more, visit www.clayburnservices.com or give Jeff a call, 780-910-6728.
The Nielson Show, featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
.803 on the Nielson Show here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Thank you very much for joining us today. Tell your friends about EST. You listen on TuneIn, listen on iHeart, listen to EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Just pick up your device and say, hey, device, play Edmonton Sports Talk. It's going to pop right up for you. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. We got jam-packed third hour. Ryan Rishaug in about, 20, 25 minutes. Scott's going to pop by. Old Redbeard's going to be in for a special Monday. Sobeys, the Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week.
That's great.
What a great way to get the week started. I just like seeing Scott. I mean, the beer's going to be great,
beer's
too.
The bonus, yeah.
Scott's going to be by. We'll find out about his journey to get out of Grand Prairie last week. All the drama, all the feels.
Speaking of finding out, people are anxious about that meting that you were so dressed up sharply for on Friday as well.
We'll get to that during 3 Questions Too Many. I saw your questions, so we'll get to that coming up. We've got 3 Questions Too Many on the way, and the keyword for Vegas in about 16 minutes. 16 minutes away from a keyword to get you in the mix for that trip to Vegas as we move into the second week of 7 weeks of qualifying. So be ready for that. Another chance to qualify on the Hangout today, on the Lock Shop, and on the Oil Stream a little bit later on today. Trev, who do we have playing Kind of Easy Trivia this morning, buddy?
Today we have Nick, or Menopause Nick.
Menopause Nick.
Yes.
Oh, he's a father now. He's just out here trying to provide for his family. Mr. Mike's gift certificate for the Menopause Nickians. Hampton Inn, corner of 137th Ave and Mark Messier Trail. They got the 6 o'clock lager on tap. Nielsen recommendation, of course. The classic Mike Burger. All right, let's bring in Menopause Nick this morning. Nick, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Nielsen.
Oh,
I'm good. How are you?
How's the family?
Oh, everyone's great.
Oh,
baby's she's trying so hard to crawl and walk. It's awesome.
Oh, that's good. All right, before you know it, you'll be chasing her around for the rest of her life. So, that's
calling in for
that's a tough
trivia.
One. Yeah, that's right.
Just like the old man.
Can you imagine the one day where it's like, Menopause Nick's daughter's in? You're like, what the hell is going on here? All right, Nick, you need to get 3 of 5 correct, okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go. I'll start the ticker out to read the first question. Good luck, man.
I think you're telling him.
I know, Nick knows. Here we go. Who did the Oilers lose to on Saturday?
Colorado.
Which player scored his first goal as an Oiler on Saturday?
Carrick.
Who is taller, Desharnais or Stetcher?
Day Harney.
What sport does Scotty Sheffler play?
Baseball.
What country's Joey Votto from?
Canada.
4 out of 5. We'll give him 4.
And he got it! That is why I did it! Another 5! Are you kidding me? That's right! Who do you think you are? I am! Get it right! You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show.
That's a paddling.
Oh, we've been strong. We're just playing by the rules.
Ooh, you better believe that's a paddling.
And I was in Miami with my new beach house. Well, it was a couple minutes from the beach.
That's a paddling.
The first year we took it to the limit.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today. You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
806 Clubmate Loop provided by Menopause. Nick, the hero today.
Oh, yeah. That's a great way to start a week, with Menopause Nick giving you a hey Nielsen, talking about his family of all things, and then, a nice, comfortable 4 for 5 to get things going.
If you hit an 800, you're a Hall of Famer, Nick. Well done, buddy. Well done. Hey, save that for a sec. Let's do that again. Penner's Pancakes, 47th birthday for this guy, teetering towards 50. And then the worm is in and says, wow, Penner Pancakes, it's my 37th birthday today. Happy birthday to you.
10 years of like this.
Happy birthday to you.
You got it.
Happy birthday to you.
With one note.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he's trying to do something over there. I just wasn't sure, but that's what it was. All
Happy
right,
birthday, guys. And a nice even 10 years between them. What are they, 47 and 37?
Yeah.
The worm.
Back to the Romper Room. The birthday's
Yeah.
out there today. I see Penner's Pancakes, and I see the worm. Happy birthday to both of you.
We need to get you a mirror.
I used to love Romper Room. Or at least that part of Romper Room. I can't really remember the rest of Romper Room.
It was like a gym class, I think.
I probably didn't like it
you know what I
myself.
mean? Well, they had the
like
parachute thing and the...
You got to get the mirror with like no mirror in it, right? And
Yeah, that's all we need is the mirror.
That'd be kind of cool. We'll see what we can do. 780-218-9999. Your reaction on the Oilers and the Avs. If you're watching on YouTube this morning, hammer that thumbs up for us. That would be much appreciated as we try to push up towards 200 or 157. Let's go. We got Rishaug coming up. We got that key word coming up. I could be that guy who's like, we're not giving you the key word until you get to 200.
And he can, because he can do whatever he wants.
But I'm not going to be that guy. I would say we'd really appreciate it if we hit 200 likes before 820. That'd be great.
Do it for the guy in the chair.
Guy in the chair. All right, let's get to 3 questions too many today. Lieutenant Eric, do you have a liner for the segment?
3 questions too many, brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda, where Mitch Lewicki requires you to get up to 200 likes, or else he won't, blah, blah, blah. He can be the one issuing the threats. Park Mazda, your dealer for life. Check them out, parkmazda.ca. Mitch is probably frantically printing out brackets this morning around the dealership like he does, following a Selection Sunday, so there's that. But check them out as well. I know a lot of you have been going to Italian Center Shop, following your nose. Follow your nose to Park Mazda as well, parkmazda.ca. And if you are in the market, used, brand new, or if you just want to go down and talk vehicles, Mitch and the crew, that's the place to do it.
Italian Center Shop does smell terrific, but so do new vehicles.
Oh, a showroom?
Right?
You kidding
Follow
me?
your nose to that new vehicle showroom.
People are all dressed up, looking good, everything's smelling good, everything clean, fresh.
Mitch smells the same way. He does. It's great.
Musk by Mitch.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Go see the great staff down at Park Mazda. Do you have a Twitter account?
That I do. It's at Lieutenant_Eric. You can follow on Twitter and recap the weekend it was at the Jasper Place Curling Club Bonspiel, to which we did the broomstick, the broom shot ski.
I saw that, yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, shot ski. I'm like, well, it's not a ski, it's a broom, so you can't call it the broom ski.
What do you call it? The broomstick?
Broom shot?
Broom shots?
Which kind of doesn't really...
doesn't
shot
work.
ski sounds much better, but yeah, we did that and, so much more. But it was a nice weekend. And yes, had a chance to see Gwar get a little wet with
the blood.
With old Beefcake and the rest of them from the band there last night. So a few pictures and video up there as well. And I got a nice picture of you with the that's good donuts from Italian Center Shop this morning, to which some people have said those eyes are possessed. Aikens has now just tuned in.
Well, I mean, he is a fan of the show.
As Bones kind of correctly said, that's 6.5 hours of sleep, Dusty. That's the Dusty look that.
When I get 6.5 hours of sleep,
you're awake.
If I got 6.5 hours of sleep for an entire year, every single night, I could become prime minister. Honestly,
2 countries.
I mean, who else is really giving us legitimate options right now? Give me sleep for a year, and we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. Yeah, see, I look pretty happy there. Now I'm happy because there's a huge thing of
you're aware, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. I do like that. All right, you can text us anytime. Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999. These are some of these questions came from today. Keyword for Vegas coming up in about 8.5 minutes. Ryan Rishaug after that. And Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the week after that. We'll give you a chance to win a $50 gift certificate to Sobeys and Safeway Liquor. By the way, where do you come out on just the new car smell? I wanted to run this by you because I was considering it the other day for the truck still. Where do you come out on air freshener that's new car smell? Is that cheating? I feel like it's cheating.
The blue one, the color, the right?
Well, whatever it is.
Yeah,
it's called new car smell.
I like it. That's one of my top, say like a top 5, like a rotation.
Yeah.
I don't mind the leather. I don't mind the black ice.
It's really weird if you got into like a car that was clearly like a bit of a beater, but it smelled like a new car. Like that might be kind of bending the rules a little bit on the air freshener.
It's like when you wash your car and the thing seems to drive better. It just adds, but it adds like a bit of a.
Well, you know what? It's funny.
There's something to it. You know it's not a new car, but you're like, we're smelling new. We're halfway there.
Remember when the truck was shaking for a little bit there?
Uh-huh.
I went and washed it, and then like the next day it stopped shaking.
So
in my mind, I'm like, I fixed it by washing it, even though it's probably not what happened.
But that can happen.
What?
You get snow buildup in your wheel wells and stuff.
That's what
and everything.
I think it was.
Yeah, no, that's totally what it is because we had that same issue.
So am I a mechanic now?
Yeah.
If you need your car fixed, swing on by. I'll spray it with water at a high pressure rate.
You can call him a grease monkey, you know?
Oh, cool.
You have a rag.
Yeah, I have to start doing an accent. All right, question number one. Where are we at here? Here we go. Guys, I've been thinking about this all weekend. What would you say the Oilers did better than the Avs on Saturday? It's a good question. What did they do better than Colorado on Saturday? I mean, I almost would say I don't know what the Colorado Avalanche would have done better than the Oilers. Like, it was an evenly played hockey game.
They played more than 60 minutes, actually, which we usually say
exactly.
in the 60 minutes. Now maybe a half second
I
here
don't
or
know.
there.
I don't know if there's anything I would necessarily say that the Oilers did do better than the Avs.
Specifically, I guess you could point to like Nuge, as somebody suggested, making use of a break. Like, I don't think team overall you're looking at anything that maybe from a coaching point of view, maybe somebody would argue this morning.
I don't know. I'm trying. Trev, you were on postgame with me. Like, is there anything that we would say the Oilers really either? I mean, the Colorado Avalanche obviously worked a little bit harder right to the end than the Oilers, but I mean, a very minor detail when it's all said and done. But was there anything you think that the Oilers?
The only thing I can really think of is I'm pretty sure going into the third period, they showed a stat, and the Oilers were favored by quite a bit in scoring chances, high danger scoring chances.
Okay.
That might have evened out in the third period and near in the end. But so that's something I'd maybe lean towards. But yeah, like you said, it was very even. You can't really put there wasn't the power play. It was nothing special teams. It wasn't
glaring at you and jumping out.
Yeah, like it was an even game. So you can't really pick one, really.
Propane Pimp is in and says he thought the Oilers cycled better, but the Avs attacked off of the rush better. So, I mean, that could be, if you're looking to break it down, that could be something. Here's one that says we blocked shots way better.
Yeah.
Remember we said that when we were watching going into the third? Like, oh, wow, the Oilers have blocked way more shots.
They kicked pucks into the net better.
Yeah. I guess that's true. Zach Hyman did.
Corey Perry's nice kick too.
Corey Perry. Yeah, the Oilers.
They were kicking the puck way better
with their feet.
Yeah,
they had a bigger impact with their feet on the game than the Colorado Avalanche. So that was good. 780-218-9999. What did the Oilers do better than the Avs on Saturday night? Like we said, even played hockey game, but there were probably little elements of it here or there.
But
one team did better than the other.
That's a good question to kind of take people who were just thinking this is the end of the world or something and kind of bringing it back, because that it really makes your brain go to the place saying, hey, well, it was kind of a soft because, if you reverse that question and ask what the Colorado answer would be, it'd be kind of
Colorado
the same.
they did look more deadly off the rush I think you could say the Oilers did a little bit more work when they got into the zone. That's Propane Pimp. That's a pretty good comment. All right, question number 2. Do you guys just put Stetcher with Nurse, or do you move Cece back up there and play Stetcher with Kulak? I'd put Stetcher with Nurse and see what's up.
I wouldn't mind seeing what's up this week.
Yeah, why not? I mean, you
This
get
is the-
Montreal.
yeah.
Like, if Desharnais can't go, Stetcher with Nurse.
Sure.
See how it goes. Because against Colorado, I think we've identified the Oilers need as many mobile defensemen as they could. I can't remember who was it yesterday on Twitter. Somebody on Twitter yesterday was saying, I don't know if it was Original Puza. Anyway, somebody on Twitter was suggesting that you get Broberg and Holloway into the lineup against a team like Colorado because they skate faster than some of the other guys. And I don't know if I'm taking Broberg out of the American League and throwing him to the Wolves in a Colorado series. Might be a little bit of a risky proposition. But Stetcher moves better than CC and Desharnais, so maybe that's something that you can look at there as well. 780-218-9999 if you would like to chime in on that one. But I why not see Stetcher and Nurse? There's no reason not to. Like, you have to, what Nurse and Cece are. If you want to go back to Nurse and Cece, this is what you're going to get from Nurse and Cece. That's pretty apparent.
Yep.
You don't know what Nurse and Stetcher are yet.
Pair of home games before that Saturday night affair down in Toronto, so why not?
Do it. Put them up there.
Do it.
All right, question number 3. This came in the nasty chat a little bit earlier. Hey guys, how was the second biggest meeting in Edmonton sports talk history? And I don't want to get into details too much.
Trev, I had a great afternoon. We went to the restaurant, enjoyed our lunch, and it was fantastic, wasn't it? I
You
mean,
guys had a great one, yeah.
It was very good.
You're spying.
All I'm going to say is this: 3 key words. 3 key words from what I described as the biggest meeting in Edmonton sports talk history. Maddie has clarified that the one when we got together decided to launch Edmonton sports talk is probably a little bit bigger. But I would even disagree maybe a little bit with that. Anyway, 3 key words. Follow-up meeting.
There you go.
You know how business works.
There you go.
Follow-up meeting.
You could even say the follow-up. Follow up.
Whatever. I mean, however you want to hyphenate it or whatever you want. But follow-up meeting. Follow-up meeting.
Follow-up meeting. Follow-up meeting. Follow-up meeting.
So now we get crank it up to another notch.
Now, is this another away meeting, or will this be more of a home
It's
turf?
road meeting. Maybe,
okay, like I'm
neutral
thinking,
site meeting.
Closer to Hamptons. Like, are you going? Is it another downtown event?
Downtown.
Oh, baby,
that's where business gets done. Downtown.
You're right there. Hey,
Yeah.
I mean, you had no trouble finding the place.
Well, we can't say too many details, but I will say this: the place we went did very much have a vibe that you could go shoot somebody in the head there. Like, definitely. When I walked in there, I was like, oh, man, they could definitely knock us off right now.
Yeah, you did it. Now people are texting in follow-up meeting.
You know what
That's
I did?
not the key word for the Vegas.
You know what
flyer.
I did was when we sat down, I sat with my back against the wall.
Did you have to?
Maddie sat down next to me. He goes, good seating choice. I was like, I know. I'm not seeing anybody come unless there was like I sat right by like a removable panel on the wall. And they could, but
eyes on the
felt
door.
Pretty good. Felt pretty good.
Y'all had each other's backs, eh?
Yeah. For you texting in the keyword is not follow-up meeting. It's
Very
real funny,
sly, though. I like that.
I like that. But or maybe they were just chanting with us. Anyway.
Yeah.
Follow-up meeting. So it's good. It's good.
Sir,
Follow-up
Brett
meeting
says
is
it's
good.
better than never meeting again.
Exactly, Brett.
Which is...
Brett must do a lot of business, too.
Yep.
Well, now there.
He's a downtown guy. He knows how it goes.
Follow-up meeting. Spency 5 cents he's in and says, hey, better than a follow-down meeting. Am I right?
Yeah.
Penner's Pancake says, so does the follow-up meeting mean even more of a Dusty suit upgrade? Good point. I use plaid. Maybe, you know what? Follow-up meeting, I might go white dress shirt, same hoodie jacket.
I think you could run it back. What? Just... a new smell, like wash it off. Like, you don't just wear it like you had it, but maybe a different colored shirt underneath. I don't know, but
yeah.
Look, if that looks gets you the follow-up meeting, you go with what wins.
Whatever works.
You stick to the formula, baby.
Huge follow-up. Follow-up meeting. I view follow-up meeting as mission accomplished. I mean,
Actually, you'd want that more so than just saying it's all good.
Exactly.
Now you
Let's
have both
discuss more.
All parties have time to suss over the details, maybe provide extra points that they wouldn't before, and now you're really getting a deal done. Instead of just rushing things and
The last thing you want is to sign a deal immediately. Follow-up meeting.
You just don't know.
Let's go. All right, we go from follow-up to flyaway. The flyaway with the EST Flyway to Vegas with our great partners at FlyYEG and the LVCVA. We are hooking you up. We're going to give you a keyword here. You're going to text it in to 780-218-9999. After about 3 to 5 minutes, Trev is going to pick a number. We're going to call that person. They're going to qualify. Then we'll go to Ryan Rishaug. So I see Ryan Rishaug's waiting to get in there. Throw him in. We'll get to Shoggy right away, but we're going to take care of business with this keyword first. It is nonstop flights for 2, 3 nights accommodations, tickets to a Cirque show, and when we hand out the grand prize winner, when you win this trip at the end of April, you can book it at any point in the next calendar year. You just have to book it in the next 2 months. All right, today's keyword is, and text it to us right now, 780-218-9999. Inbox, are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. The keyword today is hotel. Hotel.
Let's go.
Because when you go on vacation, Eric, where do you stay?
Well, sometimes for a more affordable rate, it could be a motel.
Just
but in the
say
case
hotel.
of this, hotel.
Yeah,
hotel.
hotel.
With an H-O-T-E-L. Hey?
All right, hotel. Let's go. H-O-T-E-L. Text the word hotel to the inbox right now, 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. That is your keyword right now. Do not hesitate. Do not wait. Text in the keyword hotel, 780-218-9999.
It's just one every fifth one is like capitalized. I do see a few motels in there. Love it. It's just got to be hotel. You don't got to. You don't need to overthink this one.
H-O-T-E-L. There's Scott Laurie for Sobeys Safeway Liquor.
I love it.
Look at that vest that guy's
On a
wearing.
Monday,
What a vest.
too, yeah.
What a vest. What are you, jumping ship? Name the movie. You guys know the movie? Nobody here knows the movie. Back to the Future, boys.
Sure.
Come on, man. Remember, that's what Lorraine's dad says. The guy at the cafe there. Yeah. Okay.
Really
Sorry, I guess
I've
people
only
don't
watched the
get
movie
back to-
once. You borrowed it to me on Blu-ray or whatever it was, DVD.
Did you ever give that back?
Yeah.
Oh. What'd you think of it?
It was okay.
Yeah.
I'll
take it.
It's good. But I'm not. I don't have it on a memorized loop as you. You have to excuse me.
Yeah, no, that's understandable.
But I did watch it.
780-218-9999. For those of you putting hotel into the nasty chat, that does not work.
But a little funny. I'll always take it.
You have to text it to 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. One more minute. We'll give you one more minute. Then Trev's going to call our qualifier. We're going to go to our qualifier. Then we got Ryan Rishaug. Then we got Sobeys and Safeway Liquor. Beer of the week still to come. You can send us your text messages if it is required that Stetcher heads into the lineup here in place of Desharnais. Do you just put him with Nurse, or do you move CC back with Nurse and play Stetcher with Kulak? We'll have that conversation as we work our way through the aftermath of the Oilers and Avs, which was just outstanding. I was in on the post-game show Saturday night, and it was one of the most fun 60 minutes that I think I've had here at Edmonton Sports Talk since we launched. It's wild and crazy times.
Well, black belts.
Yeah, it was good. Sam is in. It says, "What does this word mean?" Signed, Sam from Beaumont. Excellent drop.
Is that in the nasty chat?
Yeah,
or is that
a nasty chat.
Oh, that is
excellent drop.
Text of the day material.
Nobody
right
from
there.
Beaumont. Beaumont's like, what's this word?
Wow.
We've never heard of it before.
Hotel?
What's a huddle?
Yeah. Sounds like a Leduc thing.
Oh, what's a huddle? Oh, that's one of those things you have to go to a Tasquin to get.
What a great man. That was a great message.
All right, Trev's calling our qualifier. We should have him up momentarily. Remember, if you text in and we call you and you don't pick up, you're you know what, out of luck, because we're just going to move on to the next text. So best of luck to everybody. YouTube Travis calling our qualifier right now. I know some of you are going to be like, that's weird because my phone isn't ringing. But we're going to get to that. And it's going to be a great trip. I don't know. Like, what time do you use this to get out of Edmonton in the winter?
Well,
or do you use it to like go down in the summer and hit up the pool parties?
The fact that it's so wide open, you have so many options, and then you're talking weather, just talking Vegas events. Bottom line, whether or not, like, there's
always
so much,
something going on. You can choose
so
any
much
time
you
of
can
year.
plan for, but what's your flavor? What's your taste? Is it more of a weather thing? Is it more of a getaway during the winter? Is it more of a you have an event that you need to see? But the flexibility of this trip and the options that you have are just, I mean, it's.
I kind of prefer to spend most of my Vegas time indoors anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't think it really matters too much when I go. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. All right, here we go. It's our first 4 qualifiers today. Another keyword coming up on the Hangout, another one on the Lock Shop, and then another one on the Oil Stream with myself and Tommy Gazzola a little bit later on. Today's keyword was hotel. YouTube Trev, who do we have qualifying for us today?
Today we have David.
All right, David. Congratulations. Let's bring in David. David, did we lose him? You had him. You already talked to him.
We, yeah.
You already got his info, though.
Yeah, I got his info.
Then he hung up.
Oh, he was so excited.
It would appear so.
David, you killed us.
They do that from time to time. People.
Yeah, but you already got his info. He did qualify. We called him. Trev, you talked to him.
Yeah,
All
we're
right,
good.
So we got his info. All right, Dave just kind of bailed on the other part of it. Did you tell him to stick around?
Yeah. I said we'll have you on right
Call
away.
him back.
Okay.
Call Dave back.
Wow.
I want to talk to this guy. I want to find out like who he wants to bring to Vegas with him.
He's so nice. He's like Joey Votto hitting that home run. You guys, you have a show to do. I
think it was.
I'll
Just a
take
double.
my qualification and
Don't worry about it. We're gonna get Dave back. I want to find out if he's been to Vegas before.
We want to talk to you, Dave.
Yeah, we got to talk to Dave here. Then we're gonna talk to Ryan Rishaug and get his thoughts on the Oilers and the Avs, which was just, I mean, it lived up. I thought it lived up to the hype. I thought it was good. Yeah, let's get. All right, there you go. See, I don't know if he was trying to be a sneaky boy and get away. All right, let's go. Let's go to David. David, congratulations, man. You are a qualifier today for the trip to Vegas. Have you been to Vegas before?
Yeah, a couple times.
Couple times. What's your favorite thing about Vegas, buddy?
Losing money late at night.
Losing
it in the morning.
Yes, losing money late at night and regretting it in the morning. That's always a great time. Who would you bring with you, Dave?
Oh, probably the wife.
Probably the wife. Sounds like a confident answer. And we'll see how that goes over for you. All right, Dave, congratulations, man. You're one step closer.
Awesome, thank you.
There you go. Dave's probably going to bring the wife, but not 100% sure.
Yeah, I love planning to lose money as well. As that's kind of like, what are you going to do tonight in Vegas? Oh,
sounds like David's a horrible gambler. But what are you going to do? Next chance to qualify coming up here on the Hangout today with Matty Wannick. All right, let's get it. Wait a second. Wait, I gotta get the music up here for Ryan Rishaug. Here we go.
Timberlake rocks.
Is that a mandate of yours?
God, what are we talking about here? Good question. Can some of it be about sport? Yeah. All he needs to do is just get in front of people and state his case. If they had the mandate from the people, blah, 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 I don't know where that information came from, but I would question it.
Time for the Morning Mandate with Ryan Rishaug.
This is what sports broadcasting is all about.
You know what? That may be a good point, Ryan. You broke the story, Ryan.
Rishaug is one giant 6'2" pile of Charmin.
8:29, and it is the Monday morning Got Your Back mandate with Ryan Rishaug. I believe they dropped a new episode of Got Your Back on Saturday night. Shoggy, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
I'm awesome, pal. Yeah, Saturday night we did a post-game pod after
the
that
game.
beauty of a game. And then we didn't do one last night. We're going to do one tonight instead. We wanted to let that other one breathe for a day or two since there's so much to talk about with that game. So we'll have another one tonight.
That game checked all the boxes we were expecting it to check, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Well, actually, no.
Not the power on power, like the crazy point production. Yeah. Good
I mean,
game,
McKinnon
though.
obviously had the great play late, which was a fantastic play. But yeah, there wasn't major moments from all of the big high-powered guys. It was more the bit players that and the depth guys that scored big goals and made a difference. But no, it was an excellent game, unreal pace. Like that game is played at a different pace than every other game of the regular season. That was next level pace. That was playoff pace. And so, it was good. It was an excellent game, man. Tons of fun to be at and watch. And there was lots to break down coming out of it.
You talk about the pace. I mean, how did you think? Did you think anybody on the Oilers struggled with the pace of that game?
I thought, I thought the blue line struggled a little bit at times. I thought, like Vinny Darnay's, when it gets that fast, the decision making, right? Like you gotta, and he's come a long way in that. But I thought there was a bit of a struggle there. CC a little bit too, a couple of times. The one thing, and I don't want this to be like the headline thought, but the one thing that I was thinking as I was watching that game last night, for what night was it? Saturday night, was I wonder if the Oilers are a D-man short here. I wonder if they're a top 4 D-man short that could really get out there and impact the game and not just be in survival mode. Because I think the D that they have, when the pace goes to that level, there's some survival mode that's happening out there. And so it was kind of a thought that I had. Then you see Walker, ripping around all over the place doing his thing. But they played them even. And it was a tiny little thin margin of error difference. So in a 7-game series, I honestly have no idea who to pick in a 7-game series after watching that game.
I was just going to ask you that very question there, Ryan, and you gave me the answer. I was just that Desharnais, was that question popping up during the game, or what did you have going into this one? Like a big question that was or perhaps wasn't answered during the game and you want more of? Because I think that the 7-game question to me right now is fascinating as well. I don't think there were any answers regarding that following Saturday night.
Yeah, a few things I was keeping an eye on. Stuart Skinner. I think that as it's coming down the stretch here, keeping a close eye on the quality of Skinner's play, but also, I think that this was a big game and it was a really important game. And this is as close to a playoff style game as you're going to be able to simulate during a regular season that, maybe unless it's the last game of the year for a playoff spot or something. Yeah. But, and I thought Skinner was excellent. I thought he was really, really good. I thought he was steady, kept his team in there, made the saves that he needed to make for the most part. And I thought that was an excellent performance from him. So for an Oiler fan who might be, wondering what's Skinner's level going to look like come playoff time, this was a real positive development for him. And his game has been excellent for most of this season. But that game, to me, I was paying attention to that. But then, and then some speed issues, right? Like I wonder how Perry and Henrique and Carrick and Desharnais and CC, like when it really ramps up, I mean, that could easily be a Stanley Cup final team they were playing. How did they manage? And I thought overall they managed fairly well. But over the course of a 7-game series, I wonder about how that pace will weigh itself in on that Oiler blue line. But again, it was a really close game. So it's not like they were awful, man. They played a hell of a game. I mean, hard to pick out many players that didn't have an excellent game, despite the fact that there were some big blunders and tough mistakes that led to goals. They played well.
Henrique still ramping up a bit here, or is this who Henrique is? And
I think Oiler fans need to brace themselves for the idea that there's not going to be a lot of offense, and that there's some subtleties in his game. Right, there's some things in his game that I think will pay dividends at playoff time. He's got lots of experience. On a lot of nights can be really helpful in the face-off circle. Can be a veteran presence depending on the matchup. You can play him against the other team's better players. I wouldn't match him up against speedsters for sure, but against a certain opponent, I think he can be a good matchup type center. But I'm not sure how much offense there's going to be honest with you. If you look at who his line mates primarily will probably end up being, I'm not sure that there's going to be a ton there. So, and I know that probably can feel frustrating for Oiler fans. They look at that first round pick, but the thing I think you have to keep reminding people and remembering is, it wasn't a first-round pick for a third-line center. It was a first-round pick for a third-line center at quarter price and a fourth-line center on a discount as well. There was so much money retained across the board in those deals. That's what elevated it to being a first-round pick, as the price was all about the salary retention. And so we had a lot of frustration on our show, people contemplating a first-round pick for this. But that salary retention is really expensive. And Henrique will be a valuable player. He's got a role to play in this run. He does. It's just, at the time, Dusty, I said it wasn't flashy, but it was functional. And I think that's what we've seen so far.
So they're down 1-0 going into the third. Put McDavid and Draisaitl together. Two of their other lines actually score. And we were just asking, we were wondering today, like, if they were to play Colorado in a series, do you just operate the same way? And if you're trailing, you put those guys together, or do you execute it differently? Or what do you think happens with those two guys in this series if it does happen?
Yeah, I really like the fact that they gave Draisaitl's line that matchup, because Colorado very clearly loads up a line, right? They got McKinnon and Rantanen playing together, and Nichushkin's big body is a good player. And so who gets that assignment, right?
Yeah.
I like the fact that it was Leon Draisaitl. That matchup forces Leon Draisaitl to, man, he needs to have those legs moving all night long, or you're going to get left behind.
Well, if he
right?
doesn't, you're torched by McKinnon.
Yeah,
sure.
you're torched. Yeah. There is no room to take a few strides and a few shifts off when you're in that matchup. And, I know there were some mistakes, and I know the overtime winner was one of them. There was another goal where, got beat back up ice, though I didn't love the pinch by the D-man. I think it was Kulak maybe. I thought Draisaitl, Struds felt he had inside position on the back check, and it was okay to pinch for the D-man, but Struds is always defending the defenseman, so I'll respectfully maybe disagree on that one. But I know there were some mistakes, but I loved how engaged in that game Leon Draisaitl was. I thought he was really good through most of that game. There was a lull in the second period from everybody as Colorado applied themselves. But to your question, I think it depends on, when they're at home and they think that they can control the matchup a little bit better and they want to try and keep McDavid and Draisaitl separated, then fine. On the road, it might be a little bit tougher. That is a difficult, that's a difficult situation to deal with, that line, that powerful. And, he made the switch, ended up working for the most part. But again, I don't know. I don't know what the best thing would be, because it just might change night to night. It wasn't a bad matchup for a couple of periods, but it needed some tweaking.
Ryan, Vinny Desharnais, that broken digit. Oilers this week, home to the Habs tomorrow and Sabres on Thursday. What are you doing with Troy Stecher in on that blue line?
Yeah, I think you're throwing him in there next to Brett Kulak and just letting him do his thing. I think you go Nurse and Ceci because there's familiarity there, and you're not too worried about the quality of competition here. If the Oilers play well, these are teams they can certainly compete against and on paper should be able to beat. So I think you go Ekholm and Bouchard together as you always would. You drop Ceci back in next to Darnell Nurse. I think you throw Stecher in next to Kulak. But what I will say is that I'm going to be paying close attention to Stetcher's game. There might be a role for him to be played here.
Yeah.
He's a different type of defenseman than Desharnais. He's a different type of defenseman than Ceci. I liked what I saw from him in the first game, though I know there were some bumps. I like the mobility. I like the first pass. I can't help but wonder if against a certain opponent, you wouldn't be better off having Stecher in there for his mobility and puck moving. So I think there's I think the window is cracked open here, guys. Never mind a Desharnais injury. I would say even if he were healthy, I feel the window is cracked open here for Stecher to have a role to play.
Well, I think the conversation that we had on our post game and you guys probably had on your post game when you just brought it up, the speed of a series against Colorado. I mean, the one advantage Stecher would have against the other two right shot guys is that he's more mobile, right? Like I think I thought that was the reason they might have chosen him, because he's so different than Ceci and Desharnais and gives them a different option. So. Yeah, I would think if he can show up and give them a look and show them that he can skate the puck, and in the playoffs, I mean, Colorado might be one thing, but these teams that get to the postseason, a matchup against Winnipeg might be different. They're big and they kind of maybe lumber you down a little bit, and maybe you're better suited for a guy like Desharnais there. But I agree with you. I think there's a chance for him to be a better fit versus certain opponents if he can prove that he can handle it. So.
Yeah, they didn't bring in some number 7 that was, languishing in the press box. I mean, he's played a lot of hockey this year. You look at his average minutes and how much he was being used. And, and I know they were, for what they paid, they were quite pleased with the quality of defensemen they felt they got. And while we assumed it would be a bigger, right shot guy that was more of a shutdown defensive style guy, I think when the opportunity came to get this quality of a player, they were like, well, style aside, you need to get that player. And it might end up working fairly well. We'll see, right? Like, we'll see. He needs to get in. He needs to keep playing. I liked what I saw in the first game. He's had a decent career and he has a decent level of experience, but I think there is opportunity here. And I think that, in a series against Colorado, like, you got to be making decisions really fast. They pressure you and they take away your time and space. And you need to be able to move and you need to be able to make decisions. And, it can't be taking 2, 3, 4 games to get used to that speed and get up to speed.
Shaggy, you said you're dropping another episode tonight?
Yeah. Brownie and Struds and I will drop another one tonight, and then we'll be, I think we'll be post-game, both games this week.
Tuesday, Thursday?
And then looking ahead to the weekend. So, should be lots of content coming this week, and then, of course, reporting for TSN, so you can check our stuff out on tsn.ca and SportsCenter.
Excellent, buddy. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, good to see you guys. Have a good one.
That's Ryan Rishaug, Got Your Back podcast. You can check it out at gybpod.com/YEG. That'll get you all the information that you need to know about the Got Your Back pod. And obviously, you can find the podcast on all the different platforms out there as well, with Rishaug and Struddy and Rob Brown. Nice trio of guys over there with Got Your Back. You can text in anytime. This text in says, guys, do you think sitting Desharnais, especially in the playoffs, could affect his desire to re-sign this summer? I would probably say no. I mean, the others were the organization that gave him a shot to complete, to make his NHL dream come true.
An understanding there.
I don't think Desharnais goes, you sat me in the playoffs for a couple of games, I'm out. And I also don't think there's a bunch of teams around the league lining up to outbid you on Desharnais. So appreciate the question. And I don't want to sound too disrespectful to the big fella, but
especially if you've been sitting him there.
No, I don't think so. I think he's probably been very, very happy with the opportunity that he's received so far here in Edmonton. 780-218-9999 if you want to chime in on that or anything else that we had to discuss with Ryan Rishaug this morning. Feel free to chime in there. Should we dive into a little bit of a delayed? We're going to do this on Friday. We're going to have to get to the travel stories of one Redbeard when he slides in here. But let's get set up for Beer of the Week with Sobeys and Safeway Liquor. Gift certificate coming up for you at the end of this segment. Don't go anywhere.
Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week on the Nielson Show, only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week, available as its own podcast, of course, on all your podcasting platforms. If you just go to EdmontonSportsTalk.com, you can click on if you go to shows, you'll see Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week. You can click on that. It'll get you all your podcast links and everything on that front as well. You made it back from Grand Prairie, hey, man?
I'm in one piece.
Yeah.
It was something.
So is your plane taking off? And they're like, abort!
Basically, yeah.
No.
Like, it's the first time. I fly a lot. And so, like, we're on the plane, and sure enough, we were delayed already.
Okay.
And, at first it was waiting for crew.
Yeah, of course.
And then it was unscheduled maintenance.
The worst.
And then they're like, okay, let's go. Like, oh, yeah, perfect. Let's get on the plane. So we get on, and we're taxiing, and sure enough, we're getting up to speed. We're getting up in the air. Headphones on.
Oh, you gotten up in the air a little bit?
Just the nose starts to go up a little bit.
The weird feeling?
And then boom, down and stopped on the brakes.
And jams on the brakes right away.
Yeah. So we're
my God.
Sitting on the tarmac, engines off, and they're like, we're just going to have to go back to the terminal. So
holy smokes.
Around we go back to the terminal. We sit there for a while, and they're like, yeah, we're going to have to get off. We've got a door sensor that says it's opening as we take off.
Well, you don't want to do that.
Which is not a good thing.
No.
And they said we just need maintenance to look at it. But the bad news is there's no maintenance in Grand Prairie.
Oh.
So Everyone offloaded.
That's an issue.
You towed the thing down the highway?
Yeah,
Or
so we offloaded and we went, had to line up and try and figure out where we're going to go. Like I missed my connections in Edmonton, all that kind of stuff. And they were super great. The people at the airport were awesome.
So would you rent a car and drive home?
I tried.
You did?
I tried that.
I definitely would have tried
and
that.
they're like, no, we don't have any cars. No cars left. And so they ended up delaying there was another flight in from Calgary to Grand Prairie. So they delayed that one, put maintenance on it. Flew them out to Grand Prairie.
Oh, wow.
They fixed the plane, and we're watching it from like Grand Prairie Airport. If you've ever been there, you can see it. They fix the plane. The plane takes off, does a little circle, comes back down.
Test
lands,
run.
test run.
Yeah.
And then the stewardess like, hey, we're not doing zones. Let's everybody get on the plane. Let's get out of here. So everyone just jumps on the plane, and we're all like, yeah, let's go. So
Wow.
we got into, I think I got into the hotel about 2:00 in the morning, I would say, and then back up 8:00 for a flight out of Calgary.
Jeez.
So it's good
This
times.
is kind of like my dream when I told Eric.
Yeah,
I
you-
had a dream last night where did I tell you this?
You're driving.
Yeah, so I had a dream last night that I missed my flight to Regina for the first CFL game of the year.
Yikes.
And then I had to drive, but I just drove the entire dream and I never got there. I was like, I'm late, I'm running late. It was a horrible
It's
dream.
an awful dream.
Horrible dream.
Yeah.
I just kept driving and driving. I was like, where's Regina? I can't find it.
And then you wake up and you're like panicked. You're like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I don't. Never mind.
Only CFL people would have a dream about driving to Regina. It's kind of sick. All right, what do we have for beer of the week here?
Okay, we are going to a funny little. We're at Tool Shed.
Okay.
And I'm texting you saying I'm not going to be there. And the owner of Tool Shed, the Red Rage, Graham, was actually in Grand Prairie also waiting for the flight to get back to Calgary.
Grand
Kind of
Prairie.
weird-
More like Grand Prairie.
Yeah, a weird twist. So we're going to do Tool Shed. And then we opened our new store in Devon. So I brought one of the local brewers from Devon. So we'll try one of theirs
that's
as well.
cool.
So it's St. Patrick's Day weekend. Yeah. So if this was Friday, we would have talked about, different
sense.
ones for
Yeah.
us to drink instead of Guinness. So the Flat Cap Stout was the beer of the week.
Oh boy.
We've got People Skills and Red Rage, which
People Skills, I think we've had before.
done both of those before. And then their new one, Late to the Party, which I also thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Because we are late to the St. Patty's party. That's the
We're
beer of
late
the week
to
this week.
Exactly. So
Very nice.
Let's start with Late to the Party.
Okay.
So
Late to the party.
This is a hazy IPA, and it's kind of there's a funny write up on it that they are late to the party with hazy IPAs. Everybody else was making them.
Makes sense.
And then they finally kind of joined in the
Ooh,
trend.
it smells so good.
And there was actually someone tweeted out, they had posted this on Twitter, and they're like, oh, you guys should have tasted this on Friday.
Yeah, that's right.
So
this is the one.
This is the one.
Hell,
So
we
this
can.
is Late to the Party.
Boys, I have to say, I do believe the nose on the IPA has become my favorite of all noses.
Is it it's refreshing.
You've come a long way. Like,
I know.
Yeah. I used to be like this.
Prefers the smell. Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You were scared.
Yeah,
of it
I know.
at the
I'd be
beginning.
like,
You're
don't
oh,
make me do this.
This one's going to be next week, or I guess later this week. We've got a 100+ IBU.
100 plus.
Jared, now you're going to be
industrial
to the
IBU.
test.
Whoa.
Industrial IPA.
I didn't know
coming
that
up.
was possible.
It's rare. So
all
yeah.
right.
So this is Tool Shed, Late to the Party. So this is again classic hazy IPA. This ramped up 6.2%. A whole bunch of different hops in this one. It's light colored and full of it. It's delicious.
All right, well, cheers to the Oilers and Avs.
Yeah.
Living
What a
up to the
game.
hype
Do
on
it again. What a
Saturday night. That was just terrific. Give us 7 of those, eh?
Yum. Yum.
So good.
And usually we start with like a lighter beer than that, but that one is just so delicious. I wanted to kind of
That's
get
really
it
good.
right out of the way.
I'm going to have one of these and one of those donuts after the...
I'm gonna put that
you'll be
there
in
for
heaven.
later.
Oh, yeah.
That's
You'll
gonna
be
be
in heaven.
the one for you later. Let's go.
really good.
Let's go. People Skills. So People Skills is that patio style, nice light beer, just 5.2%. It's an everyday.
Who they got on the can? They're just a normal guy.
It's one of their owners. So they've got one of their owners on there, and then it's all kind of ties back.
Okay.
With, the Red Rage, Graham is one of their other owners. He's on the Red Rage can.
A person just like us, hey?
Yeah,
the
these
owner.
regular
Yeah, like
guys,
that.
just
Regular guy.
accessible. I think it's like he doesn't have people skills. I think was
So
the
it's
inside
ironic.
joke.
It's an
Okay.
ironic name.
It's an ironic name, but yeah, this one, whereas the other one was super hazy. This one's nice and clear.
This is your classic
smooth,
pour
lightly
here, like-
hopped, really delicious. 5.2%.
All right, well, cheer to airplane maintenance.
Yeah, the crew.
Yeah,
They were
cheers
awesome.
to-
team,
Cheers
yeah.
to the crew who came up and saved the day there.
You always feel bad for the people at the desk too, right? Like you know,
Well, they
people
can't
are-
do anything with it.
And you know, people are probably gonna be jerks. And I said to the lady, I said, "Have people been nice to you?" And she's like, "Yeah." But she looked stressed. It's like most people are being really, really nice.
That's
like,
good. Most people. There's always a couple of jerks out there. There's always a couple of jerks.
Okay, so let's go flat cap stout. So this is the actual beer of the week. This is a 5.2% stout, $13.99 for a 4-pack of Tall Boys.
Is that another one of the owners?
Yeah. Actually, this guy was the throwback to the canning system that.
Okay.
If you think back in the old days of craft beer, everything was in bottles. So this person here in Edmonton invented the craft beer canning line. So the small scale canning line that all of these craft beers.
What are you talking about? Like he invented
the tech. He built the first kind of machine
to can
like
craft beer
in
smaller doses.
With the flat
that
cap.
guy. That's in small batches. So it used to be, you have these giant canning lines, and if you go to like a Molson Labatt and like it runs through, like it's huge
through the whole thing,
massive. This guy made a little one, so you could do smaller kegs in tall cans, and all these guys, it could make way more efficient. Change the game.
Where are we at with the flat cap? You ever rock one of those? Did you do back in the day?
This guy could pull off a flat
I think
cap.
you could. Hey, like yeah.
My dad wears a flat cap.
We
He's
should
a
have
flat cap
Flat
guy.
Cap Fridays.
Whoa.
Where we wear flat caps on the show.
I'm game.
I like it.
I have to go to Value Village and find some. I don't know where to get a flat cap.
I think I did
If your
own it.
dad's got a few,
I had it in university. I had one of the old tweed flat caps.
Did you?
Yeah.
In university, eh?
Of course.
Some people love them. Some people hate them.
What a scholar.
Right? With my elbow patch sweater.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, not going to class. Yeah. So this is a stout. If you're looking for something, if you were looking for something even this week with St. Patrick's Day week, it's good to taste a little different ones. This is, dark and malty, smooth, dry.
I've got a thought in my mind as I smell it. I'm going to see if the taste follows
It's
up.
a 15-degree patio drink for me.
There you go. Cheers. Tommy Gazzola.
Yum.
Okay, so my nose rings true.
Yes.
It's not as there's not as much coffee taste there as I thought. Like when I was smelling it, I was just like
Caramel.
Caramel. Okay. Yeah, because when I smelled it, I was like, it doesn't seem overwhelming with the coffee smell.
No. Usually, those are the kind of the standard flavor profiles, and they range depending on the actual beer itself.
Oh, that's good.
But that's a really you're gonna get lots.
It's a little lighter than I thought it was gonna be too.
Yeah.
Well, it's smooth, dry, easy drinking. It's not heavy. You can drink a few of these ones and not.
Some of those dark-looking beers can be more lighter than the IPA-style, haziest, yellow-colored beer, I guess you could say.
Just because it's dark doesn't.
It's dark or yellow. That's kind of what people see beer, but there's so much more.
So much variety. It's like with every IPA we taste is a little bit different flavor. Every stout's the same way. They don't have to be heavy and full feeling.
Guinness is a light beer, right? In a sense.
In a sense, yeah. I had one of those yesterday. You have to, right? So let's go. So that's Tool Shed. Let's go next with the Dark Era. So this is next 5. Do you want to do the Red Rage first?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me, man. It's your call.
Let's do
right, were we going to go back to the Red Rage?
No, I just
5
beers
on the Red Rage.
5 beers on a Monday. Let's do Red Rage.
5 beers on a Monday, Sunday, Tuesday. Who cares?
Who cares?
It is March 18th.
It is. So yeah, Red Rage is it's an American red ale. I like the red ale style.
We don't have many red ales, do we?
We've had a
few,
more
but we don't have.
It's a style that kind of is coming back into kind of. People are trying to do different things other than the hazy IPAs all the time. So they're trying to do some red ales. They're a nice usually a nice blend between a little step up from a patio style to this one. You're going to get kind of that really kind of blend of hops and malt. Red ales fall usually dead center. So this is 5.6%.
It's a nice zone to kind of relax in.
Yeah.
Speaking personally, this is the red ales.
Red ales are right up your style. So this is throwback to Red Rage. So the gingers obviously have a little bit of a temper issue. It is what it is. So this is Alberta Gingers Unite. It's a red ale for us angry gingers.
He said it.
Yeah.
He said it.
Soulless.
So cheers to people like him.
Gingers. I'm gonna get 17 South Park gingivitis texts.
You guys must you must have like a group chat with other redhead people, eh?
Yes. Oh, yes, for sure. Yeah.
All yelling, all caps.
I'm
so mad at this.
Well, it's usually but there's all again with gingers. Usually we're quite calm. 90% of the time. It's just
until the fuse is lit.
Until you're not.
Yeah. Okay.
You're happy until you're not. Right.
Remember this.
Yeah.
Scott is
fine.
fine.
Scott's fine until he's not. Yeah. I love that South Park bit.
Until Rangers are bounced from the Europa League. We'll talk off air about that.
Yeah, me and Maddie had a discussion. I don't know if you want to.
No, that's.
We don't want to talk about it here.
Nobody cares. Yeah.
Nobody cares about soccer.
No.
What is this?
Hey, now we're talking.
Okay, so again,
I was not expecting this.
This is another stout for us to try. So this is
Holy
next
heck.
5. So next 5 is really small. So very, very small brewery out of Devon. We just opened our new store in there. Yeah. We don't carry this in most of our stores because the owner was in there doing tastings for us on our grand opening. Like they're very small, but we wanted to do a beer of the week just for their flyer. We had the 6 o'clock. If you go to Devon right now, 6 o'clock lager is on sale for $12.99.
What?
Just Devon alone.
Just in Devon.
Just in Devon.
Oh my God.
$12.99.
$12.99 for a 6 o'clock or 4-pack.
Yeah.
Only in Devon.
Only in Devon.
That's worth the drive right there.
100%.
I want people from Edmonton to go to Devon, clear it all out, and be like, take that, Devon.
It's close enough to justify.
It's not that far.
No.
Marshall plays hockey there a couple times a year.
Sure.
It's not that far.
It's just right there.
I live on the south
just up
side.
the river.
You basically just cross the river.
Upstream a bit. Yeah.
That'd be an easy place to go in and trade spice back in the day.
Right?
I like to imagine.
That's a dune.
A distance, right? You're on your sled.
Sure.
Sliding into Devon to trade some spice.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
So this is the Dark Era Stout.
What is going on here?
There is a lot going on with this beer. Again, this is just Devon's beer of the week, but it's just another option to have for that St. Paddy's Day week, we'll call it. This is $16.99 for this one for a 4-pack of Tall Boys. They're really, really good small brew.
What am I sniffing? What are you getting in there?
I get more of a. It's the malt. More of a chocolatey.
Yeah,
in that
one.
More chocolatey in that one.
I feel like I'm a little stuffed up on this one. I'm not getting the chocolate.
You need a refresher. You need that palate cleanser.
Yeah, we need to cleanse that. Yeah.
I pour this down my nose.
Neti pot it.
Neti pot.
Neti pot.
Neti pot in the beer. Wouldn't that be a
Neti pot beers.
Wow.
Sounds like a classic Irish thing to do.
Yeah. Vodka on the day after.
All right, hey,
Anyway,
cheers to whoever the St. Paddy's guy actually is. Eh?
Yeah, good old Patrick
Cheers.
there, eh?
Also light. It's also light.
Very
Yeah.
different than the flat cap.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Very different. A lot. It's almost more.
There's a dark chocolate
less
taste
sweet
in there.
Certainly less
that I'm
sweet.
getting.
I get like a bit of a smoky type of too.
Yeah.
There's something.
I would say
Fireside
smoky.
or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Less smoky than the flat cap. Less sweet than the flat cap.
Yeah.
Flat cap's got a little more of that caramel flavor, where this is more that dark. Smoky's a great way to put it.
Yeah, I like them both. I prefer that. I guess it's like time of day and situation.
Yeah,
though.
100%.
They all have their own point and purpose in existence.
Yeah, there's no bad beers.
No. It's just
there's
timing
just
and
timing
how you're feeling
and what you've eaten that day, who you're with.
Yeah,
makes, an impact.
That's another good thing.
That's why all these beers are great. But it's a Tool Shed's beer of the week for everybody else. It's $13.99 for Tall Boys of the Flat Cap Stout. But if you haven't had Red Rage and People Skills, you really need to try them. They've been around since 2012. They're one of these. They're one of these.
12 years,
these original kind of craft beer guys.
Tom Dixon's mustache boys. I had the 0 people skills at the Bonspiel this week. Terrific. I could walk around with the can and not answer 15 questions, 100%. But why I'm not drinking.
Yeah, so Tool Shed does an awesome job of the non-alcoholic. So they have 0 people skills and 0 Red Rage, and you really can't tell the difference between.
Seriously,
they do such a good job of non-alcoholic for these 2 beers. They really do hit it out of the park.
I think my wife was sipping on this one there at Jasper.
No people skills.
Yeah. Great beers and good partners.
All right, we do have a gift certificate right now. All you have to do is text in Beer Me. Just text Beer Me to 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, and we will get you a $50 gift certificate. One of you will end up winning that bad boy. Let's dive quickly into the grand finale. Eric, what'd you learn on the show today, my man?
Well, we're all convoying out to Devon, I guess, later this afternoon, as it is. Jimmy Onishi and the Nasty Chad road trip to Devon. Why not? On a Monday, 15 degrees?
Why not?
For
take
the
a half
sale
day.
price of $12.99?
Take a half day and
kind of
set
got
your
to do
week up
that.
right. Yeah,
you got to do that. Yeah, save that. It's worth the drive to save a few bucks.
I think so.
On that one.
Have
That's
lunch
good.
in
Scott,
Devon.
you learn anything on the show today?
That we should probably do beer of the week twice a week, every week.
Oh my God!
Right?
Can you
We
imagine
can
that?
see- we can
See
do
you Friday,
things.
right?
Yeah.
Like
This doesn't feel like a Monday now. This
No,
feels like
it
a
feels like
Friday
Friday.
now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be sleeping on Maddie's love seat for the next 2 hours. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
I'm okay with
he
it.
is too.
It's a nice way to start the week. Nice way to start
the
the
pillow
week.
ready for you. I'm sure.
That'd be great. Yeah. Well, we've been thinking about in the other room that we want to do like just podcast only in the future. I want to put a Murphy bed in there.
Of course.
right in the wall.
Feedback.
And then
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
time
yeah.
to go. I just pull it down.
Pull it down.
Sleep right there.
A little
Quick
book,
nap.
a little book you take out. The, right there.
A little library.
Where's
Right,
Dusty?
yeah.
He's in bed.
Call it put a little library. You could bring.
Yeah.
Everyone could bring a book.
Sure.
What's
Take-
this?
take
It's
one,
the
leave one.
library.
Take one, leave one. You know,
And I
kinda-
sleep here.
Yeah.
That's a great idea,
Great
right?
idea.
All right, let's get to your sound of the day. I'm just looking for sound of the day today. We'll go back to the Muzz from earlier in the show today when they were doing their hangout. Yes, I got to get this actually on my computer here, but sound of the day will be Elizabeth in her response to Marshall asking about the performance of the Oilers on Saturday night.
Nielson. So, Elizabeth, how did you like the Oilers' performance last night? So bad. They lost. So why would I like it?
So bad, they lose.
You can tell
So
Mar-
why would I like it?
Marshall's Tony's desperately trying, like, hopefully this
Marshall's trying
interview
to have a good
stays
conversation.
on the rails
Yeah.
for crying out loud.
Yeah, Marshall's
He's got his
sitting there being
papers.
like-
He's like, no, look,
How am I supposed to work with this, Daddy? How am I supposed to work with this? So bad, they lose. So why would I like it? I'll be honest, man. She fits in. She's that's your sound of the day.
Get her on those post-game Saturday
Yeah.
nights, eh?
That'll be good. Here's a text of the day. Kind of circles back around the post day as well. This is for A&W. Your text of the day today. They got those mama burgers. Just started special, 2 for $9.99. You gotta love it. Hey boys, maybe that guy was just wearing a black belt. He's not a martial arts master. He's just a dude wearing a regular black leather belt.
Kind of goes back to
Right?
that PhD talk we had some while back. I mean,
Yeah.
what is a black belt?
Oh, I pissed
eh?
somebody off about that today too. You see that one guy? Oh, where do you come out on people with PhDs being like, I'm a doctor?
I think it depends on where you're using it.
Careful
where
what you.
you-
Okay,
where,
yeah,
where,
fair
where
enough,
you're
fair enough.
throwing it around.
Like the beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're with
Situation.
a whole bunch of other engineers and you're a PhD
Yeah.
and they're not,
Yeah.
sure. But,
Sure.
But if you're coming
Like,
in,
what
like,
about
if
that?
you're-
Like
if
going to
you're
a house
like-
party and being like, I'm a doctor.
Yeah, not
Like,
okay.
That's weird. I think if it's professional
Yeah.
and you're doing it, sure. Yeah, 100%. You're professionally a
Yeah.
doctor, technically.
Yeah, yeah.
But like to be going around to randoms and be like, oh, I'm a doctor.
No.
Without giving the backstory, a little sketchy.
A little sketchy.
It'll set you up for something bad.
Yeah,
When
exactly.
you're relied on.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like,
yeah.
is there a doctor? Yeah, he's a doctor. Trev's a doctor.
He's been telling us forever.
No. I can
He's
just
not.
build bridges.
He's not.
Tracheotomy. What the-
I just build bridges.
Get a pen.
All right.
I guess.
The hangout is on the way next. We'll see Scott again on. Are you in on Friday?
Yeah.
Okay. I
Right
thought you
before I
were
go to
leaving
Ma-
on vacation.
I
Basically-
leave on Friday.
Okay.
Direct
Wow.
flight.
Actually, fly out Friday.
Direct flight to Maui.
My God, direct flight. Yeah, of course. So many nonstop destinations.
Nonstop.
From Fly YAG. This guy's going direct to Maui. I didn't even know planes could go that far without
Oh, yeah.
stopping and refueling.
Yeah. No, they refuel in the air. The plane.
I mean, I
comes
guess it's true.
ab-
I do
and
go from
fuels
Toronto
them.
over to. Oh, a
Fuels it
reload.
in air. Yeah, fuels it during the flight. No,
You know who came up with that? A doctor.
PhD.
For sure. PhD guy, for sure.
sure.
All right, that's going to do it for us. For Scott, Lieutenant Eric, YouTube, Trev. Hangout is coming up right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Make sure you stick around for that. If you're watching on YouTube, turn on autoplay. It'll take you right over. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or EdmontonSportsTalk.com, you'll get a little brief Whale and the Wolf, and then the Hangout will be firing up here as well. I'll be back with the Lock Shop at 11 and Oil Stream at noon today right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Have a great day and take it easy.